Hello everyone and welcome to round 11 of the GPVWC Formula Sprint 1. Our journey through the European continent is coming to a close, and the race will also mark the final race in the Formula Sprint series before the long-awaited 4-week summer break. A chance here for all the momentum to come ahead since Montreal to end on a high note here. A spectacular showing last time here at Spa-Francorchamps means a lot is to play here for in the legendary Hungarian, one of Eastern Europe's finest motorsport venues, makes its grand return here to the GPVWC calendar since 2023. Remco Zeeuw joins us alongside here as broadcast director once again, and alongside me for today is a man that's won last time here in the Hungarian, and by his own words, he won race 1 by a pretty big margin. Carlos Martinez alongside for me here today. Hello, Carlos.
Hello, Amir. Allegedly, I said those things, but yeah, I mean, today we'll see a very interesting race with a huge meaning in the qualifying. This is what the how many Spanish commentators say it's the Monaco without walls, and it actually really applies. It's a super high downforce track, probably the highest downforce track that we will have in the calendar. Even though we have Singapore, probably this one, it's a higher downforce configuration. So max out the wings, very little overtaking chances, only one real possibility place to use the push to pass. Even though the straight between turn 3 and 4 is a bit dangerous, we have seen it this weekend with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton with a slight difficult moment into turn 4. But then the rest of the track is really hard on the tires. So mission number 1 is to do a super great qualifying. Starting in the front row means a lot. And then strategy-wise, as it's difficult to overtake, you don't want to land on a big group of traffic. As soon as if it's like one by one traffic, it's fine. But here the engineers will have a lot of work to do to decide the best moment to pit. No rain forecasted for tonight's race, which is a relief after so many races lately. Not here in FS1, but in the other series. So much rain lately. We're yet to see lately a raining FS1 race. But now the qualifying will start. So Amir, which is your bet for pole position tonight?
Going to be hard to decide, but with the 40 long turns means that the qualifying is going to be really, really important here. Track that has been here since 1986 is definitely a testament and the showcase of the drivers. Of course, qualifying is not at all going to be extremely important, considering your previous experience, Carlos. You started from 4th on your route to your win in race 1, but it just makes it just a little bit sweeter to be starting for the front row or the second row of the grid to be on that very good optimal position. Mateusz Majka right on the board with him as he X's out for turn 2, then flat out for 3, is currently the championship leader as it stands. Has been a pretty good week last time round in Belgium, but Pavel Andrzejewski managed to get a double podium to claw that back to 36 points. So is trying to bring that momentum back to him for Malta Force, but those two still hitting the ground running, and still those two teammates holds on to a very convincing lead ahead of the rest of the teams behind them.
Well, clearly Malta Force are on a league of their own right now. They're leading the championship with both drivers in the first 2 positions, which kind of reminds me of the 2023 championship where TOP was there with Jack Mayer and Szymon Frelik dominating the championship. 2 Polish drivers which are racing here today at the Hungarian, which is the closest racetrack that they have to Poland. So if they feel affiliated to any track, it should be this one. Who can't forget the Polish fans cheering for Robert Kubica in this very track in the late 2000s when he was racing for the epic BMW Sauber. We see now Mateusz Majka and trailing teams. We could see Team Shiba and Apex GP trailing in the championship. But for now, I think it's pretty much done. Who will win the constructors? The question will be, as you mentioned, who will win the drivers. But here, the key, I think, for the rest of the season, as we see Mateusz Majka setting a 30.0 first sector, it's very close to Jesse Latinen also doing a 30.0. It will be the performance in race 2s. I think it is very underrated to what the performance have been so far in the race 2. Race 2 gives a lot of points, and I think the key for the Drivers' Championship will be how well you score in race 2, considering you do a great race 1. Meanwhile, Mateusz Majka 28.53 sector 2 improves over the rest of the field. Pavel Andrzejewski also 28.53, so they're just a few thousands apart. The 2 Polish drivers, Jesse Latinen, who was able to do the first purple sector, is slightly behind. Mateusz Majka finishes the lap right now with a 21.39, setting provisional pole for the Polish driver, Jesse Latinen P2 and Pavel Andrzejewski P3. The rest of the field seems like is setting still laps. Oliver Taras P3, also with a fantastic lap 121.5, and Wesley Stefano with a very good P6. Wesley, who has been struggling lately, the whole season, seems that today he has a bit more pace than generally.
Indeed, the man that's been in 22nd in the standings has got himself within the top, nearly within the top 5 actually. So that's incredibly strong there from Wesley Stefano. Here's Team Shiba. They're going to try and bring in their fight with Apex GP, which is currently sitting 2nd and 3rd. See if anything Giuseppe Sarancino may be able to fester up. Bessie Kika manages 9th, but that is still the best performance for Team Shiba car at the minute. And as Philip Koenig, they're heading to the pits. Very strong showing there of Mateusz Majka, which is by 8 thousandths ahead of Latinen and Taras as well, just shortly behind with Jase, and Andrzejewski makes it a Malta Apex Malta Force.
Yeah, Team Shiba needed to give some reserves opportunity for tonight, and Lorenzo De Ciutis is not racing today. When he was racing at Spa, we see now Roy Seifert closing the lap for HGP Motorsport, and he closes in P14 for now. Just a fun fact, the fastest Sector 3 was done by Wesley, precisely. So the MS performance is doing very well in these very tight sections. And I want to highlight Patrick Roszak. Patrick Roszak lately is doing an amazing job. He is slowly stepping up to contest for everything. Maybe now in the standings it doesn't reflect completely, but if you look at the pace and you look at his lately results, Patrick Roszak is doing an amazing job so far. He's P9 in the standings. He has had a bit of an irregular season so far, but I think this man has a lot of potential to do, has a lot of good pace hiding, and this is one of the highlights for me. If a team wants to sign up a good SL2 driver, I vouch for Patrick Roszak.
Indeed, Patrick Roszak salesman coming in clutch to advertise him for a seat for next season, but has been really incredible so far to even break into the top 5. It's been really phenomenal there for Patrick, and looking to maybe go for another one once again. As you said, Wesley Stefano fastest in the 3rd sector. That means that we've got 3 different drivers within purple within 3 different sectors. Latinen is the fastest in the 1st sector, and Jazinski fastest in the 2nd sector, and Roszak in the 3rd sector. But none of them can really quite string it together. I think Hungarian is like one of those challenging tracks where it's really hard to string purple sectors one after another, as Raymond Van Soest going wide and I think almost losing it. But I think still manages to keep a hold, and it is going to be a bit of improvement, but a bit of that slide coming out for turn 14 could have been what could have been a better improvement for the Dutchman.
Yeah, this track, there is a lot of tire temperature issues, and it's very important to keep pushing the whole track because it's possible, but at the same time to be very precise, because otherwise you get into the last section completely sliding, the last 2 corners where you need a lot of support of your tires, especially the last one. And we see here Philip Koenig using a lot of curb and the exit of the first corner of sector 3. It is very important. These FS2 cars are not very low, FS1 cars are not very low, and they can attack the curbs more than other series. And we see now Philip Koenig setting a lap enough good for P13 for now. And this is one of the biggest gap differences we have seen so far this season. We have seen very tight lap times and grids in FS1, but tonight we're seeing a bit more spread of the field.
Indeed. And just heading to the pace, that 2nd sector was invalidated, the one that he proved so much on. Has to be very cautious with the track extending. As Wesley Stefano, purple in the middle sector. If he can string anything here through the final sector, he could be boosting up a couple more positions here. Have to see how his final corner is going to go. Has to hold it in really tight, hugging as much as he can. And then early on the throttle to try to get as much speed as he possibly can. Is there going to be any proof of that? The Dutchman gets pole position. Wow, 2,000 ahead of Matej Micah. Wow, even though it is provisional, that is still mightily impressive.
Yeah, very impressive by the Dutch driver who had a very difficult season. And we see Jesse Latinen also has a lot of potential. You can see he's improving 2/10 in the first sector. And we saw the lap time from Stefano. He was 2/10 behind Mike as well. So I think there is quite some margin still for the drivers. Maybe we can see 21-1 or maybe 21-2.
Ooh, Olivier Tavares crosses the line. That is about one. Oh, wow. Really massive improvement. 7 hundredths faster than his teammate Latinen. Saracino himself just manages to break into the top 5. He's also going to be in a fight with Tavares for that position up ahead. 6 points is going to be between himself and Latinen. But Ericsson, fastest on the first sector. That's a little bit of personal improvement on the second sector, but still 4/10 off. If he can string anything together here for the final sector seat with Stefano with the improvement that he's had, maybe he'll be able to break into the top 10 or even better. Have to see with Ericsson, up from the apex, goes across the line, and he does break into the top 10. Finishes 9th as it stands at the moment. Very good there from Jesper.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Maybe the difference is that, as we see a lot of attacking curve from Yannick Pleiss, now going a bit wide into sector 2. His bouncing is not great for the lap time because when you are bouncing, basically you cannot accelerate the car, and he goes wide. And this lap is not valid anymore. and he will still have one more attempt, or maybe two, if he is able to abort the second one, the first one, if he's willing to. So, yeah, for the moment, we see Pavel Andrzejewski also improving in Sector 1 with quite an improvement over Wesley Stefano, that we know that he was super strong in Sector 2 and a bit weaker in Sector 1. So we will see what Pavel can actually set here. We see he's going wide here in this curve. It allows it, the car just allows you to go wide and ride that curve. We see very good speed into the fast corner, and he's 2/10 off in the sector, so improves 1.5 tenths Sector 1, 2/10 off Sector 2. Really good line heading into the last corners. We will see how strong he can go. Micah actually taking P1 right now from Wesley Stefano. Looks like the track is also improving the grip. Pavel Andrzejewski will finish the lap now in position P1. Yes, P1 improves also as well in the last sector over Mateusz Majka. And we see Jase Latinen also improving 1/10 over Pavel in Sector 1. So we saw Jase being very strong in Sector 2. Let's see if the Finnish driver can actually pull this now. He's also improving in Sector 2. It's not as good as it was before, but it's still much better than what the Polish drivers are setting now. Now Jase just doing the last two corners, which are super difficult when the tires are very hot. Goes into the long last right-handed. We'll try to keep it tight, accelerate soon. And now we'll cross the line in position P1 for the Finnish driver. And he seems very happy. Rosiek as well, finishing the lap now. It will be in position P3. So it looks like the track is improving so far, Amir.
It is improving so far, but I'm more impressed by Jase Latinen's gap between himself and Andrzejewski. That is 1/10. That is milestones ahead, for especially when Andrzejewski displaced Micah for provisional pole. Mateusz Zubinski for one of the other Polish drivers as well, exiting out through the final corner. See if there will be any improvements there. Green, it is just about, but only just about to 11th. But wow, Latinen, what an improvement there from him, and it's a clear 1/10 ahead. So Andrzejewski, Rosiek, and Micah, if they want to try and get pole position, they need to try and find 1/10, and that's going to be really hard. But luckily, as you said before, the track is going to get a lot better as time goes on. Tony Laurie comes out for the final corner, the highest placed Team Irish driver as it stands, exiting out for turn 14. He breaks in, yes he does, breaks into the top 15. He's now in 13th as it stands. Mightily impressive qualifying that we're seeing here, Carlos, so I must say it's so action-packed.
Yeah, Wesley Stefano just aborted his attempt. He was improving even Jase Latinen in Sector 1. But all the drivers that we have seen completing a lap, they will have another attempt. We see now on TV camera, Mateusz Majka, they will have a lap time. He's rushing a lot to do the lap. There is no need to rush. He has 2 minutes to actually complete it. And if he aborts, I don't think he will have enough time to actually go back into the pits. Yeah, he wouldn't have. So I think this preparation lap is very fast, but maybe is what the Malta Force team thinks is the most ideal thing to do. We'll see now the championship leader starting the lap. Amir, give us your best commentary now.
Mateusz Majka is aiming for his 4th pole position. He has got 3 so far, which is more than any other driver currently in the FS1 standings as it is. Looking on board with them now, he's going to try and look for as much as he can the top speed. Nearly going to be revving it before he has to brake really down late into turn 1. Hug to the apex as much as he possibly can, and has to accelerate as much and early as it can, because it's going to be a very short straight, and then it's going to be a long sweeper for turn 2. Still has to hold it in as he can. Look for an early exit there. Going to be flat out for turn 3. Just hold it in and keep it steady. He does so with ease. And look at the Polish driver here. This is a very difficult corner here for turn 4, is to see how much of the throttle that he can lift and not so much. And then again, right down to the braking zone once again. Early apex once again. And looking here for the chicane now. Has to try and see not how much of the orange curve he can take. And he does so pretty good. And then this is a very difficult corner here. You have to shift down the gears maybe, potentially. Or whichever way will be going fastest. Over there, another sweeping left, and another similar one to turn 4, is sort of similar flat out, and after which is going to be proceed for the third sector. He's improved on the second sector, but the first sector may be enough. We'll have to see. 600. Oh, no, and he's spun, and he's crashed. That's it. I think that's it. Yeah, that is it from Mateusz Majka.
Yes,
And it's gone
that's
all
it.
down the drain because being too early on the apex, and that is unfortunate for the Polish driver and the championship leader, how it stands. So the best that he's got is 4th, and 30 seconds left to go. Andrzejewski can maybe take it out of his hands to get a pole position into his books. He's got 2, but he's gone yellow on the first 2 sectors, and that's not going to be possible for him. But for Mateusz Majka, it is a bit of a heartbreak for his qualifying record. So as it stands, it's completely open-ended. Chino, right in board with him. He's got a lot of positions to make if he can string something together here as he navigates for the second sector. He's gone a bit green and might be able to break into the top 5. His stats, yeah, he has given up. I think he must have been invalidated for one of the corners. That is it. Qualifying is over. Have to see if there's any more improvements left remaining, Carlos.
Yes, he's in a good lap. Yes, he's in a good lap. And Wesley Stefano is also in a good lap. Patrick Roszak a bit slower in the first sector. And we see now that, I think that's game over for Wesley. I think he took so much the curbs, but we will see. He's improving his sector 1 right now. We see how strong he is in sector 2. Not sure if that bouncing. Yeah, that's over. That's over for him. And we see Scott Flagg also going very strong. Matthew Subinski also very strong. Frank Hamming also very strong. Paweł Andrzejewski is going for a second attempt. Paweł Andrzejewski is going for a second attempt, and he's actually improving. He's
crazy. Actually improving.
And Jesse Latinen is also improving as well. And this is...
Oh, he's slowing down.
Oh, he's slowing down. Oh,
he's invalidated. He's invalidated for the second sector, and that's not going to be it for Pavel. And as it stands, Hasse Latinen might be able to take pole position here.
Yes.
Other heartbreak for Multiforce. Have to see with Scott Flagg, though, really strong for the first sector. Is there anything the Australian can muster in the overpower car? Ooh, a bit wide coming out from the final corner, but it's still positions to be grabbed for Scott. Crosses line, it is a position higher, but is still only 7th. Jesse Latinen, though, takes pole position here in the Hungarian.
Wow, what a qualifying. What a qualifying this was. It was so intense and so track evolving. It was insane.
Absolutely. Jesse Latinen, absolutely incredible there from the Finnish driver, bringing Apex Grand Prix to a pole position. It's the second time in a row that Hasse has managed to clinch pole position, and it's the second time also for Apex Grand Prix as a whole. Paweł Andrzejewski can't really muster up, but he'll be very happy with second place as he starts in the front row for race 1 with Patrick Roszak. Really strong performance for the Polish driver. It's 3rd for him. Mateusz Majka, the championship leader, can't really muster it for the final run, but he's fine with the second row and 4th, with Wesley Stefano, one of his best performances ever, the Dutchman in 5th. Oliver Towers with his teammate up in 1st, the best he can muster is 6th, with Scott Flagg over in 7th, with Giuseppe Sarancino, the Italian, in 8th, with Frank Hamming 9th, and Jesper Eriksson completes the top 10 in 10th. Outside from the top 10, we have Mateusz Subinski for Hyperion in 11th, with James Knox in 12th. Andrea Kinaya, the second of the team, she was in 13th, with Lucas Tyler in the 14th. And Tern Lord completes the points, the top 15 for Team Iris. Philip Koenig in 16th for the German driver, with Massimiliano Ribali in 17th, Mateusz Guzowski in 18th, Giovanni Santoro in 19th, and Raymond Van Soest in 20th. 21st, Roy Safert with 22nd, Janis Plez, and Victor Bernat in 23rd. Mark Tazzari in 24th, with Victor Bouillet in 25th, and Philip Sunritsky, last minute replacement in 26th, with Piers Miriam 27th, and Marcus Christensen on 28th. What an exciting qualifying, I must say. That was really exciting, I must say. Oh, wow.
Very exciting. I must be mentioned that Mateusz Majka has a 10 grid place penalty for tonight's race, so he will effectively, if there are not more penalties for tonight, he will effectively start P14 tonight, which is not the ideal position. That's why we saw him so eager to go for a pole position. But yeah, that was an amazing qualifying.
Yeah, wow. That's going to put a lot of the hammer works, especially in the Hungarian, which is notoriously very difficult to overtake. But at least the benefit is, if it doesn't ever come up to that way, race 2 is still at hand. 35 laps will soon await for us in the feature race, but for the time being, the warm-up will commence. And with the very short warm-up period, we'll be discussing with the teams here today. Today on the thumbnail, it is 100-1, and well, they have done pretty good, I must say. Won't you agree?
Yes, they are 8th in the standings right now with 94 points. Owen Kowalski is leading the charge for them with scoring very consistently. Like they had a bit of struggles at the beginning of the season with barely scoring points until more or less the USA, and then from the USA onwards, it completely changed the dynamic of the team. They started scoring every race, even race twos. They only have one bad race two since the USA, so they completely changed the performance from the team since then. And right now they are leading the charge. They were basically the last team in after round 3, and now they are P8. Aiming for P7 is a bit out of scope, I would say, because they are trailing by 52 points from Overpower. But I think leading this midfield in P8 is their target. They have teams behind like Pixelate Racing, Hyperion, and MS Performance trailing behind. So far, they managed to overcome their early season difficulties. So that's a good positive trend for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Owen Hasvik's done very good in regards to his position. Such a shame that he can't be here for the Hungarian, so potentially missing on very valuable points. And Marcus Christensen himself has been 3 seconds off from pole position, but has done pretty good, very strong there as well for the Norwegian driver. Has done pretty good to improve so far. So it looks to be very good there for 101, especially with Kill Hasvik, as you mentioned before. Multiple point scoring positions all across the board whenever he turns up, and has been really, really strong and fundamental there for 101 success. Yeah.
Yeah, so far they're looking pretty sharp, and without any kind of doubt, I think Owen will score points tonight as well. Yeah, it's going to be a very strategic race, and it's not going to be easy. I predict it's going to be a lot of mistakes tonight. So, wait, actually, I didn't see the position where Owen qualified. Oh, Owen actually didn't show up, so my bad. Maybe he shows up now in the warm-up. Otherwise, we have Marcus Christensen in P28, which, I mean, is not the best starting point for races in it. There are 27 barrel ones, but this race will be very hectic with a lot of mistakes from the drivers. Some drivers getting impatient. This is a very painful mentally race, I would say.
Yeah. Griffon Esports, also the other team that has yet to fill another driver. Martazoli will take its place as we just see a spin in the background over there from turn 4. Just really difficult to have that throttle input, just see how much that's muster. But yeah, Griffon and 100-1 on the deficit here as it stands. If their qualifying lineup is anything come to the race lineup, as you mentioned before, could be last minute replacements in the end. But yeah, I'm still really impressed by Jase Latinen, because he's done a very good change of form, because he's not really, up until Belgium, he has never really gotten pole position. He's gotten close, but he's always been like just outside the threshold and either got beaten by, you know, either Mateusz or Andrew Zitsky, or hell, even his teammate Taras back in Jeddah. But he's finally come into his own as a qualifying specialist in his own ways ever since Spa, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think Jase, besides some difficult races that he has had with some incidents during the whole championship, he has shown that he's very strong, and he's trailing the championship by 89 points, which I don't think is it's something you can cut down easily. Mateusz and Pavel will need 2 disastrous Grand Prix, and then Jase winning back-to-back races, which we have seen race 1 and race 2 winners in the past, but to do it back-to-back 2 races in a row to place himself back into the game, I think it's very difficult. Something needs to happen if he wants to contest for the championship in let's say in a normal scenario, in a regular scenario. This this shouldn't happen, but well, I mean, the Malta Force just needs to secure it.
Yeah, very strong for Montefor's first and second, and Jesse Lattinen, best of the rest, holds on to that by just ahead of Frank Hemming and Saracino, which are both well within out of Lattinen's reach as it stands, because they're currently, I believe, 8th and 9th on the grid for race 1 as it stands. So, you know, it comes into the Finnish driver's favor to gain some very valuable points here from the Hungarian if things were to go his way. But let's also talk about Hamming as well, and Sarantino there just behind. Sarantino's not actually managed to capture his an FS1 win yet, but he's come very close in multiple times and occasions. And even so, that consistency that he's had in the podiums has, you know, managed to make his way into the top 5 in the standings. So with that, and also with Hemming, that has also been, he's also got a 1 win back in Montreal. Oh no, 2 wins, sorry,
Spain.
Wait. No, Spain, my apologies. But yeah, looking from this how it stands, it's only 6 points that split between Lattinen and Saracino, which is the closest fight that we've seen here throughout the entire FS1 standings as it is. So how can you see this race picturing in Lattinen's favor, and what can we see Hemming and Saracino try and do in race 2 to try and, you know, claw into that deficit and to try and like hold to the back of Lattinen in that fight for third?
I think if you wanna trail for Jase, it is important to regularly score between 32 and 35 points. That is what generally is a really good. It's a really good weekend. When you get more than 35, I think you need to absolute dominate, and we can see that barely there is 2 rounds with 2 drivers with more than 35 points. That means that basically they won race 1, P1 and P2, and then they are able to crawl back to those upfront positions again. So with all this said, the maximum points you can actually score is 50. Well, I was thinking on my era of FS1, but I should add 5 points on that, because now race 1 is 30 points, and back in 2023 was 25. So from what I said, 5 points more. So a really good weekend would be between 37 and 40. Yeah, and if you're able to do that consistently, I think you can make up for the 30 points or 36 points that you are lacking if you are Saracino and Hamming respectively. So I think that's the formula. Even maybe some races you will not be able to cut down the gap, but as you can see, Jase only has 3 GPs that he's over 35 points. So I think that's the formula that I would give to 37 even. It's only 2. That's the formula I would give to Hamming and Saracino to secure P3 in the championship.
Fair enough, fair enough. Jesse Lattinen being the first ever driver outside the Motorforce to score 40 points in a round, it really does show a testament of his skill. And Hamming and Saracino have been very consistent, and with their Hamming's race wing, Saracino's consistent podiums makes it 6 points apiece between themselves, and Lattinen up ahead in third. And then just outside for the top 5, Lorenzo Tikudis in 6th for Team Shiba, makes it to Team Shiba 5 and 6, holds very valuable points, especially in amongst their fight against Apex Grand Prix in the standings. Lucas Thailand, the sole KKR esports driver, in within the top 10 with Oliver Taris. He's also one of the race winners in Jeddah and has been a bit of a mixed bag, but he has been slowly climbing back there. Pretty good for the Englishman in 8th. Patrick Rosek, we've seen a great performance from him. Seems to really come into his element now. If he can translate that into the race finishes here, he'll bring in Nexium and himself some very valuable points to maybe boost up his chances to try and catch up to Taris in 9th. It is a pretty big deficit, but we'll at least give him some breathing room ahead of the Australian of Scott Flack, who completes the top 10 in 10th for the Australian for Overpowered. Really mixed bag of standings. It's see a lot of fights that are developing and being mustered, like the Kudis at Thailand, Lattinen, Hamming, Saracino, Mike Andrzejewski, Rorschach, and Flack. Can really go like any way. And of course, as we've said before, if you have good results, especially because this is approaching to the end of the third quarter now, it's going to be a mad dash line to the finish now after the summer break, because we're going to be returning back to Monza, which is, we've seen the racing that has happened here in Monza. I'm sure you have felt that before, Carlos, about how it's the last race of the European calendar, but also because it's such a low downforce track and such a slipstream chain that could really go in anyone's favor here. You can even benefit the underdogs.
I think managing the strategy will be fundamental. Even the drivers who are starting from very far from the grid, if they manage to do the tempos correctly, they can do very well. I think there will be a great part of the field that will try a one-stop. It will be hard for them to make that. The question is not if they do a one-stop or not. The question is when they do the first and only pit stop, or even if they do a two-stop, when they do it. When I say this is because you don't want to land on a big group. And if you land in a big group, then I think the possibilities for having a good result are not great. And I would say that if you are the first ones to go for the two-stopper, I would personally be the most aggressive one and maybe do it ultra early, super early. Because when you are managing the traffic, you want to be the first one from the aggressive strategy to do it. Otherwise, you need to wait to the car in front to do the overtake, and then you take the ticket, you wait for the next lap to do it. So it's like you physically overtook one car, but it's like you lost the time lap from overtaking two cars. And then you need to do this continuously. So if I went on the two-stop strategy, I would go in the most aggressive way, probably setting the soft tire for the second stint as well, so overtaking it's easier. And if the cars are spread out, I think the two-stop can actually work, but I think it's very difficult.
It can really go in anyone's favor. It really can go in anyone's favor, but I think your great strategy explanation explains why Hungary might be the strategist's favorite track in the calendar. And as it slowly goes on ahead, the Apex GP driver of Hase leads the field, heading down for turn one at the beginning of the formation lap. And as you said, Carlos, a very strong performance to him to go ahead and take another pole position as makes the second in his FS1 season. On one side, Pavel in second with Patrick Rushak. Very strong performance for him in third with Remco. Oblatara in fifth with Scott Flack in sixth. Giuseppe Sarancino in seventh with Frank Hemming completing through the top eight. Outside of that one, it's James Knox in ninth with Giovanni Santoro in 10th. Victor Boye for the Brazilian in 11th for Paulo Philip Koenig in 12th for the German driver. Mauro Tozzoli makes it Lucas Thailand in 13th with Tej Maika that had a 10 place grid drop, 4th down to 14th for the Motorforce driver. Turnlurer completes the top 15 in 15th. And 17th for Massimiliano Rabali for pick slate with Mateusz Kozowski in 18th. And for Nexium, Giovanni Santoro in 19th for LEFR Racing. Raymond Van Soest in 20th famous performance. 21st Royce Bert with Yannick Les in 22nd. Victor Burnett in 23rd. Mauro Tozzoli is in 24th. Apologies for that. Victor Boye in 25th for Philip Zerwinski in 27th for Percy Spinner and Marcus Christensen in 28th. Got some drivers wrong, apologize for that, viewers, but yeah, Wesley Stefano wasn't fourth. And yes,
Take a sip of water. Take a sip of water, Amir. Don't worry. I will keep until you do the lights. Okay. So very interesting. It will be very important to keep the position for the Apex GP driver if he wants to keep his racing chances intact into turn 1. So we can expect a big aggression into turn 1, maybe even from further behind. Some drivers will use the push to pass here to get the first one into turn 1. We will see Wesley Stefano also really eager to take the first podium for him in the season. Super great qualifying for the Dutch driver tonight as all the cars are placing. Amir, are you ready for the race?
Yes, Latinen up in the front row with Pavel Andrzejewski just right beside him. They're both fighting on very different places on the standings, but the goal is still the same, to win the first race here in the Hungarian. Waiting for the lights to come out for the Finnish driver and for the Polish driver, the front runners here. Gonna have to wait and see as the lights will slowly come on. Here we go. 3 lights, 4 lights, and 5 are on. We're underway here in the Hungarian. A great start for Hasse Latin. Side by side, actually. He's actually been judged by Andrzejewski and Rossak before the first turn. Rossak has a great start from 30. Might even get into the lead if he goes for the outside of turn 1. We have to see. And Andrzejewski just about holds it on to a very good place. Hasse Latin barges past the way, trying to retake second place, but it's not going to be enough. Already have a yellow for his sector 1 already. But look at this. Rossak looking down for the inside of turn 3. It's still going to be going side by side. This is not exactly the start that Hasse Latin has wanted. But look at this. It's going to be pushing a little bit out for turn 3. And look at all the cars going for his side. Oh, this is going to be very dangerous here coming for turn 4. Someone has to concede. Rossak does concede. And Hasse Latin has to funnel in ahead of Andrzejewski, just behind Andrzejewski though for second though. Meanwhile down the back, that's Scott Flack. He has dropped in position. Oliver Tars meanwhile has got up into 4th. And Wesley Stefan trying to look for a place. That was someone that was going wide. I'm not quite sure who that was. But Zubinski, a little bit on the curb. And look at that, trying to make a move onto, yes he does, but Mateusz Majka proves himself up into 13th as it stands. That was in a hectic first lap, I must say.
Yes, this is how the first lap goes out here at the Hungarian. It's very important. Oh, as we see Mateusz Majka also going wide. Maybe he loses a position, but we see he will keep it for now. This is very important because the opportunities they open up in the first lap, and then you want to manage the tires. We see Mateusz Gusowski also trying to make the move through the outside. Now for the inside of the last corner, we'll have some dirt here from the car in front. Will not have the advantage because now the car on the side will have the draft from the Grifone car, but he will maintain the position. Mateusz Gusowski goes for the inside team Iris and will make it stick for now. The P2P management will also be very important, and it is very important to keep the tires on the operating window. These fightings are not great for that, as we see a lot of drivers making the election for going for the soft tires, and this is very surprising considering here is very difficult to overtake. We see only one driver is going for the hard tire besides B24, Prix and Seifert. Only Philipp Koenig is going for it. So it is very surprising, all these. We will see how it develops. Mateusz Majka is keeping winning positions because he was P13, and I don't know
14.
how he overtook 14 even. He started 14,
wow.
Finished lap 1 P13, but I don't know how he managed to overtake Thailand as well.
Yeah, Christensen, I just looked in there, has gone 5 positions, but Sawinski, last minute replacement for LEF Auto Racing, has gained 7 positions within the first 2 laps. That's incredible there from the Polish driver down behind. And now this Polish driver up ahead is going to try and look for a move onto James Knock to displace another KKR Esports driver. Has just funneled in with the slipstream though, and it's going to slowly start funneling down into that 1 car train, and just going to be really tactical with the push to pass mechanisms in place here, and the Polish driver just has to funnel up ahead. Pavel Andrzejewski though done everything exactly like he needs to do to hold on to that lead, and he's going to be fighting for that championship lead that Mateusz Majka holds so dearly. And with him being 11th and him being first, he's in prime position to close that gap even further. But Hasse Latin, the pole sitter, with a very bad start, nearly dropped down to 3rd place and just about fed out from Rossak in turn 4 in the first lap to hold on to seconds it stands. The question is, what can the Finnish driver do from here, Carlos?
Depends on what your strategy is. Right now, you need to take into account that the pit delta is more or less 21.5 seconds. So you really need to control that. You need to control the gaps. Here overtaking is very difficult. He lost the first place, which is fine. You're still in a good position for an undercut to allow you to take the P1. But a bad call for the pits, it can actually destroy the race. And if I was Yase, I would probably sit in that distance that the dirty air is not affecting you at all. I think he's too close and try to make a tire delta to have a better tire life, I would say, tire status at the end of the stint, so you can push if Pavel decides to pull the trigger first, or you can actually make maybe the move. I think now making a move is very difficult and it's not realistic.
Indeed, and as you mentioned before, there's going to be any sort of deviation to try and make an overtake or going side by side for a prolonged period of time is going to wear those compounds very fast, especially the soft compounds. As we see here, Tim Laurie swings around the outside of Philip Koenig to hold on to 15th as it stands. Pretty good overtake. See down the back there, Van Soest tries to look down and meanwhile, but that doesn't work. Zarinsky still holds on to 19th. Goes Kozowski in 17th. In between that sandwich up ahead. Now to see if he's going to try and make a move onto Philip as it stands. It's not going to be just as a slot down behind. And then you think about all the dirty air that's going to be rating. And we can just see with Kozowski, he's gone already wide and might be under pressure. Van Soest heading into the third sector. He maybe looks for a move and not quite. The Polish driver still holds on to 17th.
Yeah, Mateusz Kozowski now holds up. But we see Koenig is losing some positions, but it's not really critical what he's losing now. These tires are not the greatest in terms of pace. You only want them to make them last, to be honest. As soon as he's able to not lose time but being overtaking, he's in a very good shape, I would say. And for the front, I would say Taras is lost a bit of ground compared to Rosiak. That's interesting. And Ericsson is very, very, very close to Hamming, which tells me that I think Hamming is trying to play this very smart, like he always does. Hamming has this capability that maybe he doesn't qualify the best, but he obtains the absolute best results always. So I think Hamming is for sure saving tires like a madman. And Wesley, we can see other drivers with, let's see, I can't hear from Jesper, which are maybe less experienced in these situations. We can see Wesley being extremely close to Scott Flack. If you don't want to overtake, or if you can't overtake, there is no point to be this close. You actually take so much dirty air and crash out the tires, and you find a natural blockage in front of you that is preventing you to go faster. So I think we can see Frank Hamming cooking here tonight.
Indeed, Hamming is fighting with Saracino, who's in ninth, so he's just going to push that deficit as he can with Ericsson. Jay Canali going side by side with Zubitsky. This isn't a battle for P13. Andrea holds onto the inside line for turn 1. Zubitsky's not going to swing it around. In fact, he's going to look down for the inside line and try and go side by side. He might have the outside line for turn 2. If it happens, he does so, but Andrea Canalia just about pushes him off just a little bit and holds on to the apex to retain for P13. That's a very good bar. But the more they fight, look at that turn. Laurie's also joining in for the background for this battle here. 3-car battle for P13. Very exciting. You can see there a 3-car battle for P16 behind turn Laura as well. Very exciting racing here. It's only going to be lap 6 out of 35, and it's been, as lots as it has funneled down just a little bit, it's still pretty exciting regardless, Carlos.
Yes, but the drivers are starting to struggle with the tires. We can see Pavel already 8/10 slower than what he's... Oh, we see a spin! It's Patrick Rosiak! Rosiak spins! Oh no! The tires will be toasted after that. It will be square bits, like in Roblox would be. That's not a great treatment that we are looking for. We will see what's the pace like after that spin. It's not gonna be feeling the greatest thermal deck, abrasion wear, and everything kicks up after those spins, especially with such an abrasion track. Probably he went a bit wide into turn 11, and then you clip the curb and you lose everything of downforce. He goes a bit wide, turn 10 already, and yeah, you ground a lot there. At least the spin, it wasn't that bad. He didn't have to lock the brakes or anything, which is extremely positive. At least I had the feeling from the previous camera that he barely touched the brakes, if he did. But
He did.
he did, but it was very
slightly.
little. It was very little, I would say. Proof of, driving capabilities from Patrick Roszak. But let's see how he recovers. We can see the gap with Oliver Taras is slightly increasing, and we see how punishing this is. And this is great for Oliver Taras, who is actually 2 seconds away from Jesse Latinen, and Latinen is like 1 second away from Pavel. And I'm always checking the gaps, and right now they will land on a big train if they decide to pit now, and they will land on a train of 4 cars, and then it would be like a bigger how is it called, a bigger gap. But there is one very interesting thing for tonight. Maybe they don't need to think so much on the traffic. Everyone is on softs, so more or less everyone will pit the same laps. So that is very important to acknowledge, super important, because the only possible traffic you might find is, as we see Micah almost very close to the rear end of James Knox. Maybe they don't find traffic at all, because everyone is on softs, so watch out with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just thinking with Patrick Roszak how heartbreaking it is for the Pro driver to get a podium and to have it taken away. And as you mentioned, Mateusz Micah hogs the apex on 4 and nearly airborne, but still holds on to it. Look up ahead there with James Knox going a bit sideways, and Micah might be able to capitalize it. Oh, holds it off just a bit. It's getting very antsy here between these 2 drivers, between Micah and Knox. But proving that back onto Patrick Roszak though, with that spin, it's going to be very detrimental to the tires, he said. But think about the momentum that he's lost as well, running in 3rd and now he's dropping down to 4th. That's James Knox. I'm sorry, Lucas Stein, I think that was in the background going wide. And with Roszak now under pressure from Flack, you can really see that compounds really has. That spin really has capitalized them, and now is going to be in the midst of it, trying to maybe be overtaken with Flack, Stefano, and Hamming behind. Unless if there's going to be anything at note here to maybe come into the pits, we'll have to wait and see. But at least the good thing with Roszak up ahead is that the Hungarian is practically one of the easier tracks on the GPVWC counter defense. The thing is, there's the push to pass mechanism, and it can really go any way if Roszak will probably deplete it in order to save that compound.
Yeah, right now Roszak is struggling. It is very clear, and we will see. I'm very curious how everything will pan out, because at the end, in the front, you are completely subject to what is happening in the rear, in the midfield part. But it's gonna be very interesting, because I think that everyone that went for the soft tire, it ironically opens up way more the 2 stops. The 2 stops historically have been faster if there is no traffic at all and everything. And I'm very insisting on this, because I really believe that that a 1 stop would be the way, because of the time you lose on traffic. But right now we see so many drivers on soft tires, and maybe that if you pit on cleaner, as we see a yellow in sector 2, we don't really know.
Our body's retired, I think, as we look on the TV overlay. That's going to be unfortunate.
Yes.
From the Italian. We can see for the replay.
Micah is very close.
Yeah, Micah's looking over the back of James Knox, though. Still in the midst of the KKR sandwich, but he'll maybe make a move here for turn 1 if he so dares. He's got the slipstream the closest that he's ever been to the Englishman now. Gonna look down for the inside here for time 1. Late on the brakes as he does so. He does. Is it going to be a bit too wide, though? The Englishman still holds on side by side now. Heading for turn 2, though. This is going to be the championship leader here. How's it going to fare for the Polish driver? Is it going to make it work? He does make it work. And is up into 10th there for Mateusz Micah. Very good overtake onto James Knox, and James Knox doing everything that he can to defend, but very good placement from Mateusz, allows him to get up to 10th.
Yes, a really good move by Mateusz Micah, which is critical. So now his next target is Giuseppe Saracino. Seeing the lap times, they are already racing 1.3 seconds slower than their fastest lap. So these tires are starting to scream that they need a replacement. They need maybe that the tire life is over. And we see here a slight contact between the
He lost it.
and the Pixel.
There was a bit of
He
side
lost
by
it,
side
but
for turn 2, but the
was
Griffin
weird.
esports driver lost it and then just, I think, boosted Riboli out, and I don't think Riboli must have locked up from there and can't seem to do much. Here's Dubinsky going sideways for turn 11 and hits the wall, loses his front wing, and
yeah,
I think
that's over.
he backs up, so he's
basically.
just heading to the pits. And I see Santoro also into the pits. I'm not sure. if that was scheduled or not.
Knox to
James
the
Knox
pits as
also
well.
into the pits as well. Yep, Knox is into the pits. I think that might be scheduled if I'm remember correctly. And
Yes, Victor
Bernat
Bernat
into the pits. Yeah, a lot of people to the pits now. So these are scheduled pit stops. So that means the pit window is well as truly open. And the early pit stopper is going to see how much they can gain positions with that new or hard compound. As James Knox exit out in 22nd, relatively in cleanish air. Piercius Miram was just up ahead in 21st, so I don't think that'll be much detriment to the Englishman. It just depends how Miram is going to stay out there. Still lap level 11 to 35, a lot of strategies to go in anyway, and Andrew Zitsky holds it to a 1.5 lead ahead of Latinen.
I wouldn't be surprised if Pavel enters this lap. He right now has a good gap to enter the pits, knowing that everyone will pit because most of them are on soft. I wouldn't be surprised if he enters now the pits. He does not enter the pits. This gap was not open for the Apex GP drivers. So we see another yellow in Sector 3, which is weird right now. But we see Turn Lower also going to the pits right now, I think.
Turn Lower, DNF.
Oh, DNF. Oh, never mind. Never mind. That was probably the yellow flag we have seen in the hut right now. And we see Scott Flack setting a lot of pressure on Patrick Ross.
Ooh, that was close. Sarantino all over the back for Ericsson. He's also going to be trying to push for Frank Hemming in 7th. And he needs to make the move onto Ericsson as he possibly can. Ericsson, though, great move there from him. Oh, a bit of a barge. And look at this. Matej Mike is in the back. No, Matej Mike hits the wall. And he's lost his front wing.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. He has not lost his front wing, but he's gone sideways. Oh, that's
the car is damaged.
Yeah, it's
the car is very damaged.
The championship leader is unfortunate there, and he drops down to 11th now. Very unfortunate there for the Polish driver. Oh my word, this is incredible.
Oh wow, that will mean that Pavel, if he finishes P1, will score 30 points, will reduce the gap to almost nothing after this only race 1. So we might be seeing a leader change tonight.
If he DNFs, then that means he's also going to be starting race 2 from the back, which is good.
He will not DNF. He will not DNF. He will not DNF. He will keep on track. He will keep on track 100%.
He has to.
Not
he
like
has
this.
to keep on track. Yeah.
Not like this.
Absolutely. He, I know. He knows what's at stake here, so he's definitely gonna. He has to go into the pits now, and surely will have to try and aim for. If he aims for top 15, which is still doable for
Latin to the pits as well.
Oh yeah. So that's going to be a lot of what people. He's the only one of the top 5 that's into the pits, actually. So that's a very early call for the Apex Grand Prix team to put Latinen like that. It must be doing the.
He has clean air, though. He has clean air.
He will have. Ericsson's also drawn alongside him, and Matej Micah also with the damage as well. He's getting into the pits. So I have to keep a track onto Ericsson and Latinen. Latinen exits out, as you said, 13th in relatively clean air. He's got nobody behind him, nobody ahead of him. So this could be panning out to the Finnish driver's favor. But it is 1.5 seconds between himself and Andrew Zetsky. So he needs to try and find 1.5 seconds of that on track now. And Matej Micah, I have to see. Exits up the pits.
That car doesn't look fixed either.
It doesn't look fixed either. They haven't fixed.
It doesn't look 100% fixed. Yeah, you see? Oh wow! It still looks bad.
That is very worrying. That's very worrying, and that suspension is going to be a huge detriment to Matej Micah, especially for the corner coming up, like turn 4 and turn 11, where you really need your steering at 100%, and Micah has to be very cautious on that. So we need to keep track of them. We have to keep track of them.
Pavel is pitting in response to Jase, which is the logical thing to do. And
Rosiak in the pits too.
Rosiak as well. Yeah, Frank Hemming as well.
Stefano.
Yeah,
a lot of people
everyone is pitting. Yeah, there was a lot of gap that maybe the teams didn't see before. right now, I don't think Yase will actually overtake him. He was very far away. We will see now heading into turn 1 where Pavel and
Wow, he's
Andrzejewski
close
lands.
up.
Oh, they're very close!
He's closed it up! Wow! He closed up 1.5 seconds in the span of one lap. What an incredible lap from Yase, but still, side by side to turn 1. I cannot believe it, Carlos.
Yeah, that is while they both set the harder compound until the end of the race. And we see Taras didn't pit yet, which is important. Traffic, I'm looking for it. No, they will not find almost anything because everyone who is ahead of them are on soft tires besides Philip Koenig. And Koenig is on the softer compound and the harder compound, so it's only virtually one car. And only what he needs to do is to control the gap with Rorschach and Scott Flack, and basically pit as late as you can, so you don't get overtaken by Rorschach, and then you create a tire delta to Pavel, and maybe with some team orders, maybe between both Apex GPs are able to attack Pavel.
Yeah, I'm absolutely cred by Yase Latinen's performance there to manage to get to 5/10 within 2 laps to Andrzejewski. Must have used the push to pass because I'm looking for the gap between himself and Rorschach. That was like 5 seconds at one point. But now there's another flex of people going to the pits with Taras, Thailand, and Kinalia also into the pits. And here we go, Andrzejewski on the back of Raymond van Soest. How difficult is Van Soest going to make it for the Polish driver? And can it be to the Finnish driver's favor? We have seen traffic alter the course of races here at GPVWC before. Is it going to be a case here? A very dangerous turn 4 awaits, so Andrzejewski cannot really make an overtake, even if he dares. Oh,
yeah. Oh, watch out!
Oh, Yase almost looking for the inside of turn 5. And going to be through 6 and 7, and they're still going to be falling down for that one-car trade. Really, really opportunistic there from the Finnish driver, even to push Andrzejewski out of his element. Andrzejewski didn't budge. These drivers are absolutely giving their all here in the Hungary ring.
Wow, this is key for the race win. We didn't expect Raymond to go so long with these soft tires, and maybe it's the opportunity for Pavel. Oh, he backs out.
He backs out. He didn't commit to it. Lightning, though, maybe he's going to look to the commitment of the hairpin. No, he doesn't. He's still trying to push it out to the element. And Van Soest has to go to the pits. Yes, he does. And that could have been detrimental to the lead change here. But still, Andrzejewski fends off from Lightning for the time being.
Yeah, the dirty air in the last corner is huge. I think Pavel is safe right now. Yeah, the dirty air is huge. I think everything is, for the moment, set until the last laps when the drivers will actually struggle for grip and they will struggle for this performance. But right now Scott Flack is keeping himself on track with these soft tires. Lap 16, he's currently racing in 24.9. Pavel and Yase in the previous lap, they did 25.9 with the traffic from Raymond. Now they are setting purple sector 1, but they are not that. I mean, they're gonna be fast because we see Stefano with 23.4 with clean air, so that would be more or less the pace we're expecting. So probably 1.6, 1.7 seconds faster than what the Scott Flack is doing. Maybe we see him heading to the pits now, as yes, he is switching in. You want to enter later so you can keep the most speed possible heading into the pits. And yeah, this is a pretty late call for Scott. I think it will be very close between himself and Rorschach. It will be very tight at the exit, whereas we see now a lot of drivers just fighting straight away for position. I must be said, I'm extremely...
Koenig's not pitting, so he's got another lap under his belt.
Yeah, he's on the harder compound. He's one of the few drivers who started on the harder compound. And I'm just very surprised that only 4 drivers decided to choose for the harder compound, knowing that overtaking here, it is very difficult.
Yeah, but Koenig, again, being on the harder compound compared to everyone else means that Andrzejewski, despite being 1.3 seconds ahead of Latinen as it stands, could be under threat from the German driver if he cannot make the overtake easy. Have seen it before earlier on. And it could be a similar situation once again if the Polish driver cannot overtake the German at ease. As they navigate through the second sector, it's going to be very twirly, very twisty. Lot of dirty air also at play. That's going to be pretty problematic to Andrzejewski. And also to Latinen behind, that's going to help maximize that dirty air as well. But at least for him, it will allow him to claw back just up if Andrzejewski can't get it done. As it exits out through the penultimate corner, through that very tight hairpin. And looking on for the rear wing, we can see Andrzejewski very, very tight on there. Just has to see what he can do to maximize. At least he'll have a bit of the slipstream. But as you mentioned before, the final corner is full of that dirty air and pushes that deficit a bit back. But with that tire deficit, I think Andrzejewski will be able to take that lead again. Here we go.
Oh, wow. It's not so easy to overtake.
Yeah, he's going to make
Koenig is not making easy.
He's not making it easy. He's going to make it going side by side. But how difficult is he going to do? Because he does have that worn tire compound. And yeah, he funnels in behind. There's not enough grip in those hards to hards to fight against. Well, Pavel's hards. And Jacek Latinen, how difficult is he going to make it for him? He's not.
Well,
he is going to make it. He is not going to make it very easy for Jacek either, as he navigates for turn 4. That is extremely difficult. Philip Koenig goes wide, loses it, and that will allow for Jacek Latinen to overtake with ease into second. And that is about 1.10. So it's just about gained about a tenth or so within that involvement with Philip Koenig. And Oliver Taras also behind. Maybe makes it an Apex Grand Prix 2-3 as it stands, which would be very, very good there from the Englishman as it stands. But as long as he can make the overtake to Koenig as easy. Rosak is also down in the background looking to try and reclaim his podium place. It is completely doable for him.
Yeah, it's completely doable for him, but we can see how much the effect of having one car of traffic it is. And that's now opportunity for Oliver Taras to do the move into turn 1. You need to use all the push to pass. We have seen Koenig made it easy for anyone. They're heading side by side to turn 1. Oliver Taras sticks to the inside and makes the move stick. And now everything is for him. Freedom to run and to manage the tires, and we'll have a bit of, a defender behind from Patrick Roszak right now. Although we'll try the move now into turn 3. This will be very risky. It will be very risky, and he makes it through the outside. Although he was, track limits there. That was not a 100% legal overtake. So. Unless Koenig is fine with it, it will be okay. And we see a lot of fight. Yeah, Mateusz Majka
is in the top 15, so that's really good for him. He's got points now, and that means that he's going to be in good position for race 2 as it stands. But look at Raymond van Zurst in a completely 100% car against Mateusz Majka. Is it going to fall out from his fingertips, or is he going to be just about able to hold it? Have to see here, but for Mateusz to get into P15, especially from the position that he was in, it's incredible. He knows what his championship here is at stake, and he's giving it his all here.
Yeah, but he's racing very slow. He's racing 25.5 right now, whereas Pavel, his teammate, is racing...
Oh no, he's wide!
No, he's wide! Whereas his teammate is racing low 24s. So basically, he's losing 1.4 seconds compared to his teammate. He's gonna try to make his car wide, not only for positions for race 1, because 1 point will not make the biggest difference, but most importantly, it will be the starting position for race 2. That is very important, because 2-3 positions can make up a lot. Mateusz Majka will not make it easy for Raymond, that's for sure. We'll use P2P every lap, and we will try to defend it, but we see how much he's struggling for grip in every single corner.
You could just look through turn 1 how he's battling with his own car to try and keep it straight at all. This is honestly top tier class driving that we've seen from Mateusz Majka, but how much of it can he able to sustain from cars that are 100% directly behind him, like Raymond, Serwinski, Bernat, and Bouye, all in this train for P15, that last scoring position here in the feature race here. And Mateusz Majka definitely knows what's at stake for him. That's why he's giving it his all here, as he's looking here for the second sector, just trying to keep it nice and tidy. Again, keep his car wide. That's the main goal for the Polish driver here at stake. And the Dutchman just needs to try and see if he can break him. And he has done so a little bit, or every now and again, because he has gone wide and has struggled. But look at that. Look just how much he's just trying to counter-steer it all. And navigating
Koenig's
through
in
the
the pits.
third and final sector. Yeah, Koenig's into the pits now. So that means Mateusz Majko, I think, will probably be in P14 now. So that only means he needs to lose two positions instead of one. So he can afford to give one away. So if Raymond does overtake, that's fine. Look at that. Very close. On but to the back of the rear wing, and with the slipstream into his favor, I think, yeah, he's going to... Yeah, but Mateusz Majka's now defending now. Raymond Van Sis now holding to the inside line. He's going to swing down to the outside line now. Heading down for the next corner. That is Koenig up in the head. And Raymond Van
he makes
Sis-
the move.
He makes the move. And Raymond scores the last point scoring position. And Mateusz Majka, without a 100% car, can't do much to defend. No, he is going to try and attack, but he can't get there quite enough. And down to pick 16 goes Mateusz Majka, and it slipped out of his fingers.
Yeah, it slipped out of his fingers. He's doing a huge strain, and for Koenig, this strain is fantastic because those cars are... He doesn't need to overtake. The question is now, where can Koenig finish now? There is a pretty big gap between this train of cars and the next one. It's about 10 seconds. That's how slow Majka was right now and holding all this group, and how much faster you need to be able to pull a move like this. So it will be a big job. As we see now, Scott Flack just applying pressure to the HGP driver, Frank Hamming. And he tries to make a late move, but I think we are seeing... Scott Flack was one of the latest drivers to actually pit with the soft tires. He pitted like lap 16, lap 17. And he has the tires in a much fresher state, so he can actually try to pull these moves now.
Absolutely. And indeed, one of the best drivers ever on that tire management. He always pits late in compared to his compatriots. And, well, from that, it has definitely going to pay into his favor here in the Hungary rig, because he's got more tire compound to more or less flaunt around with than Hamming and Rushek up ahead. So definitely is going to be in the advantage of the Australian. Navigating through the 7th sector, 8, 9, then straight over through 10 as it happens. And then it's going to be, again, very nearly flat out for 11. And getting yellow there in sector 1, as now is purchased for the 3rd sector. And Scott Flack still holding on just behind from Hemming. 22 out of 35. Only just, tens of laps left to go. Really, it can be anyone. Latinen is still only climbing back. It's only about 1.1 seconds away from himself and Andrzejczycki. But Olivia Taras, though, is within that second gap. So could it make things different from Yase, or is that going to be able strategically be able to apply more pressure into Andrzejczycki, do you think?
Ooh, the dive from Jesper! Dive from Jesper to the KKR driver James Knox, substituting today for here tonight. He will try now the outside. We will have the opportunity going to turn 2, and he's going ahead. He will have a run for turn 3. James Knox is struggling now. Wow. Jesper Eriksson makes the move. What an incredible move the 01 esports driver was able to pull right now.
That's incredible. Wow, did you see how close that he was on the exit turn 3? Absolute millimeters between that front wing. And here's the replay from that. Jesper Eriksson and James Knox, absolutely clinical performing. This is going to be it down through turn 2, and Knox just has to hold down to the inside line. But look at that commitment there from Eriksson, and pays absolute beautifully. Yeah. Out of turn 3, he knows exactly what was at stake coming through turn 4 and had to make the move sooner than later. And 01 as a result gets up into 8th.
Yeah, masterclass. That was pure masterclass. He's there. He's doing great racing, and we will see how the end goes for James Knox. Giuseppe Saracino does a mistake when he was applying pressure to James Knox, but it looks like James is struggling a bit now on the tires. Not sure if it's the rear end or if it's the front end, but we can clearly see that he is struggling. And we can see here, look at turn 1, the difference with the tires. It is pretty insane. We don't know if James pushed a bit too much the hard tire and now he's paying the price, or what is going on. But this is how important it is. There is still a long way. 11 laps is not easy to complete what is remaining. So if you keep pushing and the other drivers are able to maintain a better management, I really think that opportunities will open up at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Sarantino within this fight with Hamming, that's currently in 5th, and Latinen in 2nd as it stands, will probably be the biggest loser from that standings as it happens for that big battle for the top 3. But at least it may be able to put something off in race 2. Again, very, very hard to overtake here in that Gar ring, which means that those down in 15th or so maybe have a very good chance to, you know, get some very valuable points, especially with Surst, Koenig, and Ginalia 14th, 15th, 14th, and 13th up ahead. Sarantino, look at this, holding into the back glide onto James Knox, trying to recover from that mistake that he had a lap prior. And look at this with the slipstream into his hand, and maybe he'll be able to push to pass if he so wishes. The Italian will try and make it easy through turn 1 as it stands, just being a bit late on the brakes ahead of Knox, and he does so. Knox tries to put pressure, but it's not quite there for the Englishman. The Italian up into 9th.
Yes, that was a easy move for Giuseppe heading into turn 1, and we will see how everything pans out. Scott Flagg is not applying as much pressure as he was doing before on Frank Hamming, and it is important for his opportunities to go even further ahead. And now there is a pretty wide... as we see Filip Czerwinski trying to pull the move on the championship leader Mateusz Majka, currently in P16. He's still able to defend this position. We can see how big the gap now it is between Raimond and Majka, which is 7 seconds, and it is clinical for Filip Czerwinski to actually make the move soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost thought Micah went a bit sideways there, but with how much that he's battling his car, he is pretty much going sideways 50% of the time as it stands. And Czerwinski just trying to pick up the pieces even more. Mateusz Majka is within the outscoring. Is definitely not scoring any points here in race 1 as it stands, and going to be on the back foot here for race 2 as it stands, which just means that he needs to climb even more positions in race 2 as it stands. That's someone going wide. That was, I think it was Brick de Bernat. No, not. Yeah, sorry.
No, it was Philip. It was Philip.
It was Philip, my apologies. Yeah. Looking here, just holding onto the apex for Filip Czerwinski, looking down for the last turn with Victor Buya and Santoro just following down behind. And yeah, it's fine. I have a lot of retirements also. Christensen, Place, and retirements as well.
So watch out, because Czerwinski needs to defend his position, whereas Victor B needs to take avoiding actions since he sets the tires on over the grass. We can see the drivers here are getting a bit nervous right now because the pace is maybe not what they can actually apply, and it's very important for them to be able to maintain keep calm and take the best chance you can to get close to Majka and then go for it, because if you get nervous and you do mistakes, this goes in favor of Majka. Then Majka doesn't use P2P to defend, and therefore he will not be in push to pass trouble at any moment if they keep doing mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely what's going to be at stake here for Majka. You could just see how much slower though that he is, and compared to Patrick Van Soest, that's just overtaken him about like 5 or so laps prior, is 5 seconds up ahead.
Nine seconds ahead. 9
seconds ahead. I think that's James Knox into the pits.
Ooh, for a two-stopper. Wow.
That's very ballsy. Oh, was that Czerwinski?
Oh wait, Czerwinski as well.
Czerwinski and Knox are into the pits. They're both two-stopping. That's not the optimal strategy.
For Philip makes sense. For Philip makes sense because you set soft now, you cannot overtake, and you know that Mateusz is very slow, and you will catch up in 5 laps, maybe 6 laps, because there is this special, very special occasion that he is very slow, right? And you will be, but for James, that he was in P10, I don't know. I think it will be very difficult to recover this gap. It needs to recover to go to P10. Needs to recover about 20 seconds. So we see now Roszak very close to the Apex GP drivers after doing the mistake in stint 1. Now he just tries to have a look into the inside to try to make Oliver a bit nervous. But for now, he is able to keep himself here in a good spot. If I remember correctly, Patrick was one of the first ones to stop as well, alongside Yase. Oi. Every time we have Patrick on camera, he is doing some interesting moves, I would say. Yeah, but Oli was one of the last drivers to pit, so not as late as Scott Flack, of course, but his tires for sure are in a good state, and maybe they are just managing in front to maybe do a late attack on Pavel.
Absolutely, but at least it's going to be a bit good for Patrick because his podium chances are not at all over. Recovering from what was a very dramatic spin, he was really lucky not to hit the barriers and maybe could do something to pick up the pieces here. Yase Latinen 2 seconds away from himself, and Dizky so the deficit has climbed to about 8 tenths since the last time we've checked. And Oliver Taras, that was about within a second, has pushed it to just about over a second, just about from his teammate with Yase. So Apex GP still holds on to second and third as it stands, but at least a good thing going to their favor with Rossak being on the charge is that it's really hard to overtake in the car ring. It's going to be even harder if you have to overtake 2 cars.
Yes, overtaking 2 cars is definitely very difficult, but I mean, when the tires give up, I think many chances will open up, and I think this is what will happen here with the Scott Flack and Frank Hamming. Frank Hamming will struggle to get into the end. He was also one of the happy triggers, let's say. Ooh, as we see, he's going wide already. Ooh. He's doing the mistakes. This is gonna be very, very long laps for Frank Hamming, and the tires they get to a cliff. And once they cliff, it's completely impossible to recover them, and this is due to the thermal wear. And if Frank right now, once he starts struggling, he will keep struggling, and now Scott Flack will have 6 fantastic attempts until the end of the race.
Doesn't really need to do much. I think he just needs to apply the pressure onto Hamming up ahead, and maybe he'll be able to reap the awards, because Hamming is starting to, come down completely on his own. And with his tire compound now going to be running on a thread on the final few laps, it's pretty much Scott Flack's chance to get into that top 5 now or never. Out through turn 13 they both go, and then outside that, then another one through 14. And you need to see there with Hamming, with his race line just a little bit outside the apex and Flack is. Again, that's the benefit of having to pit later, more compound usage in the later stages of the race. And Hamming just about has enough of a deficit to hold on for the time being ahead of Flack. But you could just already see, from already going wide in turn 2, that is already having drastic effects on the German's driver right now.
Yeah, it is very easy to do mistakes. He needs to keep the the emotions, the feelings. Driving like this is very frustrating, so it's very important that you keep it free of mistakes. If you do one slide, then you need to cool the tires. It takes quite a bit to cool them. But oh no, as we see a spin, no. It's Ericsson spun, and it's a very difficult position from the track to rejoin, because here the driver. Oh no. That's terrible.
Oh, that's Gazowski. That is Gazowski. Complete passenger. And Ericsson, I think the problem is spinning on there. It's a blind spot coming through turn 4. And let's see here.
Yeah, but don't move. If you don't know, don't move.
Oh, no.
If you don't know, don't move.
No.
If you don't know, don't move.
Yeah.
If you are insecure, don't move. Like, in case of doubt, you cannot move there. Yeah, it's very difficult. I agree that as a driver, if you're alone to do that, Mateusz probably is in disbelief completely. Yeah, it's very hard. Probably Ericsson didn't have any bad intention. It is a completely blind spot, and if you don't have a spotter that actually can help you there, it's very difficult. And it's very frustrating, no? He was doing a fantastic race. He was sitting P8, and then to a spin to lose everything, or maybe even all the points and sit last place. I understand both sides, but these things can happen, but it shouldn't.
It's coming to what seems to be another man's sorrow. It's another man's game. Matej Majka that we've just talked about outside the points and potentially out of even contention for the lead. Oh my god, that was James Knox nearly looking down for the inside of Raymond Van Sust, but not quite anything making a move. There's he going to make a move in the MS performance. Yes, he will. Looking here for the second sector. Oh, a little bit too much in the orange curb. Is it going to be very clean and tidy? It is going to be clean and tidy. It makes it up into 12. Very good move there from James Knox.
Yeah, very good move from James Knox. That the next station is Chinalia. I mean, without beating, he would be right now in P9. So let's see where he can catch up. That's 15 seconds behind in 4 laps. I don't think he can recover that. I think the most optimistic is to think on P11. I think that is the best case scenario for James Knox. Otherwise, it would be a P12 for him tonight.
Absolutely. Just also looking as well, Matej Majka, that was just out of the point score position, and as a result, also as well, going to be outside of the reverse grid positions as he's going sideways. That is really close. And Victor Buya and Victor Bernat there might take it away from him once again, but he just needs to hold them back for about 3 laps. Is the Polish going to do it? He's been given an absolute luck of a charm. But can he find out? Victor Bernat is going to be going fighting with Victor Bouillet for P15. As it stands, what's the Spaniard going to make of it? Heading side by side here for turn 1. He even outbreaks him and makes the move before it even happens. And now is going to lead the charge to Matej Majka. But Matej Majka, though, as it stands, he's going to start on the reversed grid at second. And also very valuable points. But he's going wide for turn 2.
Oh god, he's losing everything now. Victor Bernal will just make the move through turn 3, and whoa, that was a weird move from Victor Bernat. But no, the reverse grid here is between the top 10 randomized between 6th place and 10th.
Yep.
So he doesn't have any chance for. Oh, as we see almost Victor B to go through the chicane. I think the tires from Matej Majka are completely done, and we can see now Santoro actually going to try also the move, and Chervinsky is not far away. He's just 2 seconds behind. He pitted before. He didn't have the chance before to actually make the move. Oh, both drivers go wide now. Giovanni Santoro goes wide, and Victor B goes wide as well. Oh wow, this is tremendous racing that we're seeing now with Majka completely gone. And also, it is interesting for the championship leader what he can hold here tonight. We see Santoro very close on the diffuser of Victor Brie, and he goes wide as well. And we see already Chervinsky there. Chervinsky already recovered the whole pit stop, and now he has fresh soft tires to actually make the move. As we see Santoro going for the dive. Oh, they touch! No, he spins! At least he don't take out his teammate, and now his teammate will have the opportunity to go for Matej Majka.
That funnels back into 18th though, but that is
he goes wide!
Chervinsky now goes into the inside now, outside for turn 3, has to follow behind for Victor Bouillet. Bouillet is absolutely struggling, having with that luck up just for half a lap prior, and has to follow behind now for turn 4. Has to see as Matej Majka is still just about within reach of these 2 drivers. But everything's going to be at stake here. Oh, you can see with how faster Sawicki is compared to the Brazilian. And look at that, really angry through the second sector as he goes a bit of weaving, actually. Looking for a move anywhere that he possibly can. But it's not quite there yet. But he has to be very patient, though. Really has to be patient. And whenever it makes it, has to make it stick a little bit sideways. Up for the second sector, Filip Sawicki. And how's it looking here for turn 11? Oh, Boyes goes wide a bit. And still just funnels in it behind. Oh god, this is absolutely. I cannot believe my words here. Sawicki down almost down in the inside for turn 13, but Bouillet reacts. And
I think maybe now, maybe I will try to send it even last corner. Oh my god, he opens the gap. Oh god! What a chance! He needs to get the slipstream. No, if you don't get the slipstream, you will not have the chance. Now, the overpowered car on the outside, the LEF auto racing, not good enough. And now he takes the inside, takes the position, P16. Now Filip Chervinsky will have the chance he didn't have before to score 1 point tonight.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely incredible for this last point scoring position here on the tape as it stands. Tara still 4/10 away with himself and Latinen as it stands. But look at this, Sawicki now going look down for the inside line heading for turn 4. Oh no, he does it, just about holds off for now. Ooh,
But
boy,
look where Bernati is. Oh, through the outside! Through the outside!
This is for the last point square position, and Mateusz Majka goes a bit sideways, but Sawinski gets into P15!
What a move. What a move.
I know, absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Like, Raymond is 30 seconds ahead of Mateusz Majka. That's how big the defensive effort from Mateusz has been this race. He really, oh my god, the drivers are going wide here. Watch out with the track limits. You guys need to keep on track. It's been 2 laps in a row. It's so, like, the effort Mateusz is doing tonight, knowing that every position, even if it doesn't score points, is so important, is tremendous. Absolutely amazing. And we see Oliver
This is for the final lap, Paris on the back, but our attention draws to Andrew Diski. Another winter's Beck's exactly what he needs to try and get his championship pursuit back on track through the final corner. Everything needs to do with a phenomenal front row start, and he's captivated it off into a race win here in the Hungaroring. He wins race 1 here for FS1, and just down behind, Jesse Latinen gets into second with Oliver Taras, makes it an Apex Grand Prix 2-3, with Patrick Rosak just about missing out on the podium in 4th. And I think with Frank Hemming completes for the top 5, just about from Scott Flack, who finishes in 6th.
Yeah, what a race it has been, especially at the back. James Knox will actually try to make the move maybe through the outside in the last corner. Oh, will try to sneak the inside, but no, closes in Chinalia to take P11 for Team Shiba, which is important for the Constructors' Championship. And here we see still the fight. Giovanni Santoro trying to make the move on Mateusz Majka. Oh,
he goes out.
He will still defend it. It's incredible. It's incredible. Oh no, he goes wide. He will lose it now. Victor B will go for the move. Defense. Oh wow, what an effort from the Polish driver. He will still finish P17. It's a shame. It just you know, missed from his fingers, but what an effort, a valiant effort from the Polish driver, even though it doesn't look much because it's 0 points. It's super important for race 2, and what an effort. Insane from Mateusz Majka.
That was generally, in terms of strong spirits, probably one of Mateusz's best ever drives in the season. Really a give it all attitude and never back down whatsoever, even in these trying times, and multiple times was in the point scoring position. But Paweł Trzaskowski cultivates for a multi-force win once again here in European soil with Jesse Latinen, the pole sitter. The best that he could do was second, but still very strong, and a good pursuit for him in second, with Oliver Taras completes for Apex Grand Prix in second and third, a big points haul for the team overall. Patrick Rosak just within the top 3, but the best that he could do is 4th, still very good for him, and Hemming just about fends up from Scott Flack for 5th and Scott Flack for 6th. Wesley Stefano in 7th for Emma's performance, with Giuseppe Sarancino in 8th, pretty good there for him to pick up the pieces, with Lucas Thailand in 9th and Philip Koenig, impressive strategy from him, and he gets into the top 10. Outside of the top 10, Andrea Kinalia in 11th for Team Shiwa, with James Knox in 12th with the late pit stop. He's done very good. Raymond Van Surst in 13th with Victor Benat in 14th, and Philip Sawinski, an amazing overtake onto Mateusz Majka, makes it the last point scoring position here in race 1. Outside for the point scorers, Giovanni Santoro, LEF 15-16, Mateusz Majka. Honestly, phenomenal performance from him, from the Polish driver, even though it doesn't score points. 17th for him. Victor Boyer in 18th. Mauro Tazzoli in 19th for the Italian. And Perseus Mura in 20th. And Roy Seffert is the last of the finishers in 21st for HB. The DNFers, Mateusz Kozowski, Jesper Eriksson, Christensen, Yannick Les, Torin Lure, Mateusz Zabinski, and Massimiliano Rabal.
What a race. Especially Majka made it interesting because he had to recover from the P14 in the grid because of the penalty, and then he had the mistake. Right now, 6 points difference between Pavel and Mateusz. So with now we're yet to see who's starting on pole race 2, but he will still need to recover, and still his championship leader will start in front of him in race 2.
We'll soon get the draw results out for the reverse grid. Sorry for the grid. I know it wasn't reverse grid. Apologize for the misinformation, viewers. But absolutely incredible here for what has been a phenomenal Hungarian Grand Prix. But that's still 35 laps left. We still got another few set of laps to go. In fact, 23 to be exact. We'll stay tuned over there for the sprint race. But until then, Andrzejewski holds on to the race one. Phenomenal job for him. We're going to take a very short break, and we'll be back for more exciting FS1 action.
Yeah.
Hello everyone and a very warm welcome back here to the Formula Sprint 1 round 11 here in the Hungarian. After a very exciting 35 laps of the featured race, which has action top, bottom and straight down the middle, another similar exciting event is going to wait for us as the 23 sprint race is going to be here among us. Carlos Martin joins alongside me once again, Remco Zeeuw, solo broadcast director. Welcome back, Carlos.
Welcome back. I hope everyone stays hydrated. Is very important, as we have seen during the broadcast. Yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting 23 laps sprint. Just for the good measure, the driver who did the most laps on the hard was Jesse Latinen with 21 laps. So the sprint race will be even longer, and we have Wesley Stefano on pole for tonight from P7. It will be the reverse grid tonight. So the Dutchman will have a great opportunity to score points for MS Performance tonight, doing his best result from race 1 this season so far. And he will have the chance to compete for the victory at the very least tonight. Well, I mean, the very least and the maximum. That's the best you can compete for. So it will be very important. The race start, we have seen some position changes during the race start, and Wesley was one of the drivers who actually lost positions in race 1, Amir.
Wesley Stefano, though, has finished in the feature race as one of his season's best ever results. In fact, it's his best. It's actually his career in Formula Sprint 1's best result. The last time that he finished, lower than, the last position was 8th back over at Catalonia race 2, and he's going to be starting on race 2, the same place in Catalonia where he finished 8th on pole position. So that means that it's got a lot to over for him. Yes, I am fine with my voice, Carlos. Thank you very much.
Don't worry, it's all good. I think this time I will read the grid just for your own sake, okay? Just keep hydrated, Amir. We love you so much, and we love your amazing voice and commentary, and we will have the chance to hear it this time as well for race 2. I would be very surprised if we see some drivers attempting the one-stop. Maybe from very starting positions we could foresee a driver trying it. We will see. I don't think it's going to be an easy task, because even though you have field to run, then you will need to pull some moves by the end of the race. We'll see now.
I had a dream last night. I had a dream about you last night. It was your Super League pole position at Belgium Grand Prix.
Oh God. No. Let's see the starting grid from Formula Sprint Run Race 2 here at the Hungarian. P1 in starting. Pole position, first position will be Wesley Stefano. P2, Scott Flack. P3, Frank Hamming. P4, Patrick Roszak. P5, Oliver Taras. P6, Jesse Latinen. P7, race 1 winner Pavel Andrzejewski, looking for taking the lead in the championship. And P8, Giuseppe Saracino. P9, Lucas Steinin. P10, Philip Koenig with alternative strategy paying off. Andrea Cinalia. P11, James Knox. P12. Raymond van Zost. P13, Victor Vernat. P14, Filip Czerwinski. P15, and Giovanni Santoro. P16. Mateusz Majka, championship leader, will trailing from P17. Victor Vie from P18. Mauro Terzoli, P19. Persus Miriam, P20. Roy Seifer, P21. Mateusz Guzowski, P22. P23, Jasper Eriksson with a difficult rejoin, and Marcus Christensen, P24. Yannick Pleiss, P25. Turn lower, P26. And closing the grid in P27, Massimiliano Rivoli. So we're missing 3 drivers for tonight in race 2. 2 of them participating in race 1. Amir, what's your take for race winner in race 2?
It's going to be hard to decide because we've seen with Andrzejewski's done very well, but we only start from the front row, and having started in 7th is going to be a more daunting task for him. Hasse Latin and Taras has got a chance to, you know, push themselves back up, but also keep in mind for Patrick Rosak as well. He's done pretty good within his start, so if he can be able to do anything starting in 4th to get into the lead, I think he has a very good chance here. But wait here as we're going to wait for the rest of the 27 cars to slowly start to line up onto the grid. It's been a very, very exciting race here for the 35 laps here, and another exciting 23 laps are going to be among us. Wesley Stefano, his first pole position in race 2 with Scott Flack in 2nd. Scott Flack's best position was in 3rd in Canada, and Stefano has never stepped onto the podium up until now. The 3 lights are going to slowly come on, and it's going to be 4, and it's going to be 5, and we're going to be underway in the Hungarwing once again. It's going to be a pretty good start with this one.
Oh no!
That's Taras Andrzejewski. That is absolutely unfortunate there, but Stefano holds on to the lead for now, and for Scott Flack just follows it down a second. No, Scott Flack is just swinging around the outside. It's going to be going side by side, similar exactly to what it was back in race 1, but Stefano still just holds on for turn 1. And look at this back in the background, Patrick Rosak maybe looking to pick up the pieces but doesn't, and just follows in a bit behind. And there we go, Stefano, Flack, Rosak, Hamming and Latin and Da behind. An absolute calamity though on the start finish line. I think that was Taras and Andrzejewski amongst those involved, and they're dropping down like flies.
Yeah, probably one of them stalled, I think.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. This is game over for Pavel, I think. I don't think there is any chance. We see a KKR as well. Maybe James Knox, I'm not sure. This is chaos. But I don't think there is anything to play for here without front wing in race 2, but we will see. And as we see more incidents
Island
being
also hasn't have a front wing either, so they're both involved in, I think, separate collisions. We need to see a replay for that very shortly, as the traffic just tries to navigate past Andrzejewski, and he does drop down through the field. Avalotaris, yeah, is the first retirement that we have down below, and you can just see in the back that's also Perseus Miram and Ericsson also involved. That was one of the KKR esports that was just gone off through turn 12. Let's navigate for turn 13. Andrzejewski has to come into the pits along with other ones.
Very important. Scott Flack is one of the drivers with soft tires. He is the only one in the front that is on the softs. And right now, Wesley is, very importantly, he kept him behind in the rest. Oh, he will try to dive!
For turn 2 they go! And Scott Flack, meanwhile, holds on to the lead! He does take the lead! He takes the lead out of turn 2 and lap 2. And we've seen with Scott Flack before how really good he is in tire management, and how long he pits until the end. His best chance now is to try and hold on to the softs right until the very end. Can he able to do it? Rushek, meanwhile, the 3rd, Hamming in 4th, and Latin in 5th. Wow. And Roy Surford also. Roy Surfer and Ericsson are the only other ones also on the softs. So if Scott Flack is going to be pitting again, that we need to keep an eye on that delta. I think you mentioned before it's 20 and a half tenths that Flack needs to push from Stefano if he even wants to make it stick. I don't think that's going to be doable, but he's sure going to put a run in his mind to make it happen. If he does not stop, that would be incredible, but I don't see it.
Yeah, but there is a good thing that happened for him. That basically Pavel made a gap, a not natural gap, let's say, for him to maybe pit later. And
this is see. So this is Andrzejewski.
Did the mistake
7th? No, this was from 7th. So this was in the formation lap. So Taras is just ahead of him. It was Taras ahead of him. Yeah, I think it was. So let's see here. Oh no, it's
Oli stalled.
Yeah, it was.
He stalled.
Wow, that is huge.
Yeah, he stalled. He launched first, but he released the clutch too soon. Well, there is different techniques here, and you start with a low amount of throttle, and he starts moving, if I saw correctly, and yeah, installs later. He reacts late, and then starts and then stalls. He either didn't apply enough throttle, or he released the clutch too soon.
I think
stalls.
That's where Thailand was as well, because we saw Thailand without his front wing, so I think he must have collected along there with Oliver and with Andrzejewski. So Latin is going to be practically on his own, and compared to race 1, he's effectively the lone Apex Grand Prix driver fighting amongst for the top 5 with Hamming, Roszak, Stefano, and Flack up ahead. That 3 out of 23. Got such a really chaotic race to start with, and a lot of positions here has been fun for. Riboli has been one of the biggest games along with Toyluri. He's gained 12 positions up into 14th. That's mightily impressive there from the Team Irish driver, especially starting at the rear end of the field. And now it's going to be putting pressure onto Mateusz Zabowski. Look at this down here for the slipstream here. Is he going to make it up to 13th? That'll be mightily impressive there for the Team Irish driver. Look at this, heading for the inside. Oh, you could just see Guzowski a bit sideways even before the corner and corrects it. But as a result, Toyluri gets himself up to 13th.
Yeah, this race has been. This race
dropping a bit.
Yeah, this race has been insane, and we can see Riboli started P27. He's right now P19. There is a lot of action packed, and it must be mentioned that there is 4 soft runners. There is the leader right now, Scott Flack, which is right now. I think he's slowing down the pace intentionally to try to make it to the end, but I don't even think this is possible. Like, he needs to slow down so much that is not like a real possibility.
He has been one of the best tire savers in the league, so if anyone can do it, it would be Scott Flack. But is it a bit too much of a deficit for him to hold?
Nah, it's too
he will
much.
He definitely will give it his all. You cannot deny that about Scott.
He will give it the chance. He will give it a chance. You could see how he slowed down in sector 2, and it's just because he knows that he's not in danger in sector 2, and he will do that all the time. And maybe he wakes up the last 2 corners. That's fine. That's very fine. But the thing is, Wesley can do the same. And then
But Roszak is behind Stefano, so I think Scott is just hoping that Roszak and Stefano will maybe go side by side and maybe battle it for a bit, and then that will reduce the compound life down to his softs, which, if that's the way that he's planning to go, it will be pretty interesting. I don't know if Stefano Roszak will see eye to eye and think, that's what he's playing, and then we'll just road down into like a single file trade. Because you can see here, looking on the TV, in sector 1, but you could just see everyone is slowly falling down into a single car lane. No one's really, fighting amongst one another or really applying too much pressure for the time being.
Yeah, this it's very important that they don't lose their minds. I think this is the most important thing. Opportunities will come. Roszak, of course, needs to be right in the eye because he needs to overtake Wesley before Wesley does to Scott. Otherwise, your winning chances are very much reduced. But we saw that it was very difficult to get to the end with the hards. We saw so many drivers struggling. I don't want to even imagine with the softs. So you just need to be smart at this stage of the race.
Looking there for Mateusz Majka, though, up into P9 has been very impressive there from the Multiforce driver. And Ted Lurin, meanwhile, is continuing on his charge up through the field as he's trying to displace 12 for Giovanni Santoro. And swings round for the outside through turn 3. That's going to be a bit of detriment to his companies, but it's going to make it work.
No! Watch out!
No! A lot of drivers with him! So
is it Guzowski again? Is it Guzowski?
Again. It is Guzowski again.
Oh no.
And that is 3 retirements in the span of 1 moment. A defense from Santoro ends in haywire. And that's unfortunate for Toyluri because trying to get points and it doesn't work out.
Yeah, that's the definition of bad luck. That's the definition of bad luck because neither of the incidents Mateusz was like. And what do you do here if you are Mateusz? You slam the brakes or what do you do? It's so that like he could do nothing for both incidents that happened to him in race 1 and race 2, and I feel gutted for Mateusz Guzowski tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure we all do. Not really in a good position to be in that way when it's not at all your fault. And, it doesn't really tell all the story, especially in those sorts of situations. But Mateusz Majka, though, meanwhile, driving back into him, look at the position that he's in, lined up in within the top 10, and got some points in hand if he, from what has been a pretty disastrous race one, but has managed to, continue on to race, and having started at P17, go all the way up into ninth. Now since Tolori's retired, he's now one of the biggest position gainers now from the starting grid to the current race he is with 8. Actually, Massimiliano Rarbali 5th, 12th. That's pretty impressive with him. Roy Seffert also up to 8th as well. But really impressive there from Matej, I must say.
Yeah, there has been another incident. I see Raymond DNF now, and I think it was after what happened to Guzowski. Yeah, it was after what happened to Guzowski, so we'll need to check later on what else is happening. And this promoted Mateusz Majka to P9, and right now he's in a position that he is actually outscoring his teammate, who actually cut the gap a lot in race 1. And this is, well, besides the bad news of race 1, this is somehow good news for Mateusz Majka.
Yeah, I can see what you mean with Yank players retiring. So that's both Irish drivers not there. Lucas Styling could be on a battle with Perseus Mirab for 20th. And for the chicane, it's very hard to go side by side there. Lucas Styling had the optimal line there. And the Swedish driver makes the overtake on the Canadian. And up into 20th goes Lucas.
Yeah, up to the 20 goes Lucas. And we see how everything is getting packed here. And if you're Wesley, I know it's the boring thing to say. You want the squad to suffer a bit, to not, don't push the tires right now. You will win nothing really about it right now. This opens up good chances for Majka to being very aggressive and so on, but it's still 15 laps to go. This is the distance that Scott Flack did in race 1 with the soft tires. So that's how mind-blowing is to do this strategy. And I think Wesley can actually maybe go for the attack the last 5 laps and so on. It doesn't really matter what Scott is doing. You can ignore it for now. He's still in a good state and so on. But right now, they're racing 125s. They didn't do this pace in race 1, not even with very worn soft tires. And they are racing with less fuel now and so on than what they had with the mediums. With the mediums, they were doing at this stage 24.2, 24.3. So they're effectively racing 1 second slower. Yeah, for Scott, yeah, he's saving tires and so on, but I think it's really a lost cause for him, because really now Patrick, he tries to do the move.
No,
They touch. No,
and it spins. No, that's Wesley Stefano and Roszek both dropped down places. Roszek down to 5th, but where has Stefano's gone? He's dropped out from the top 10. Oh, that's so unfortunate. What was looking to be his first podium has been taken away from him by that move.
Yeah, I think doing a move there is very difficult. Although, if I think by the way Roszek did it, it was clean, I think, but I'm not sure. It should be checked on a replay. But honestly, it looked like a clean dive, even though it's very optimistic to do a dive there.
Yeah, let's have a look for the replay there. I wonder if Roszek was just impatient for being behind Scott, and maybe because that is such an opportunistic dive bomb, and it wasn't there. I wasn't there going for that chicane.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if Wesley steered in a bit too soon when he saw the dive, to be honest. And here we will see when you see the line from Wesley. I mean, not really. It's very hard to say. It is very difficult for the Dutch.
Goodness me, that's close.
But the other driver was coming out of the track as well, the LEF driver, Auto Racing. But it's very difficult for a driver that had such a difficult season and is doing such a well race to, had an incident regardless who is at fault, right? And you have, the opportunity there to win, and then you miss it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's got it for Wesley, but I think something might be, I don't know if he could maybe break into the top 10, because I'm not sure if this is a testament that their drivers behind Scott Flack are maybe getting a bit impatient now and are looking for more drastic measures to try and gain some positions that we've seen between Rorschach and Stefano. But yeah, it does set the precedent here, as you can just see. Flack leads a single car train down through turn 1. It's nearly going to be approaching through the midway point of the race, and there seems to be no end of sight for Scott Flack to hold on to lead. But I'm actually still impressed that he's going for it, and I'll be even more almightily impressed if it actually somehow does pull off.
No, I think you look at the tire already. You can visually see that the tire is not in a great shape, and Amir knows how very well to manage these situations. And I think he's going to wait. And I mean, Scott, what he can do is to slow down a lot in these areas where opportunities can be open for others. So it can keep causing a bit of mayhem and maybe get away with it. But I really think the best result that you can opt with this is maybe a P3 or a P4. Yeah, he's making it work, but these are the laps he's supposed to be better still. Like once we get into lap 15, lap 16 territory is when we'll see the overpowered drivers struggling.
I mean, he knows that a one-stop is not viable. That's why he's not pushing. Because again,
yeah, no,
he needs to try and gain 20 seconds between himself and Hamming, which is not at all feasible. So he's just going to try and fill it in. Mitesh Micah, meanwhile, pushing up to 6th, down for the inside of James Noxie goes. Good move, rescuing for what has been an awful race 1. He's been on fire so far as he's looking to break into the top 5. Is this going to be a bit of worry, do you think, for the cars leading ahead of Micah, since he's making so easy moves?
Well, I mean, we have seen James struggling a bit with the tires in race 1, that he couldn't keep with them, and we can see that he is starting to fall back a bit. We will see if Patrick's car is actually damaged or not. I don't think from an incident like that you get much damage, to be honest. But we will see. For sure, his car will not be 100% at disposal, and we will see what he is able to pull now. It will not be easy for Matusz Micah to go through Patrick, I think.
Absolutely. Sitting there with Patrick, still within the top 5, and if he so wishes, then, you know, with what he can muster, maybe he can break into the top 3. If it's possible, it is definitely possible, because Micah's just been making, you know, moves up and center, so it is doable, but it's just, I think Micah's really good at overtaking at the precise moments, and he definitely knows when not to overstay its welcome as well, so he tries to make it as minimal as possible, so therefore the life of the compound is still like retained just about. Micah, looking down for the inside for turn 4, and I don't think Saracino was expecting that whatsoever. Yeah, he must have been scared, because he's not going to be going side by side. A little bit of contact, just a little bit, but Rorschach will have the outside line. Oh no, Saracino! Saracino doesn't follow through the apex, and these two infighting will allow for Micah to follow in for 6th. I am not entirely sure what's happened there, but Rorschach is weaving a bit back and forth. It takes too much apex, and I think is now on the gasp of Mateusz Micah. Oh boy, acceleration on the apex, and Rorschach just about controls it for now. But I think he is definitely feeling the pressure. I don't know what happened there between Saracino and Rorschach in the first sector.
Yeah, I think Saracino went a bit wide into turn 2, and then collided with the side pod of Patrick, and then the opportunity for Patrick, it was done there. But it was an insane move from Patrick. He made Saracino pretty scared going into turn 1. He did a mistake by himself, trying to outbrake when he saw that the diving was happening, and we'll see a replay now. And he was not close at all. He was pretty far away, and he just went for it. And we see a bit of movement on the braking from Saracino there, and then they go here side by side, heading into turn 2, and they contact here. Saracino tries to open his way, and he was completely wide and touches him. I mean, for me, this is clear, more clear than the one we saw with Wesley Stefano. For me, this one is fairly clear. You can dive; it's allowed to dive as long as you have the required overlap. What is not allowed is to move under braking. And we could see like there was a small movement of wheel, a reaction movement from wheel from Saracino when Patrick decided to do the move, and turn 1 for me was clean, good for Patrick, and turn 2 for sure not.
Yeah. At least good thing for Rorschach is that, you know, it hasn't lost positions. But same with Saracino at least, and they still retain back into their normal positions. Scott Flack still holds it to lead. Frank Hemming in second, Jesse Latinen in third, Saracino fourth, Rorschach fifth, Micah sixth, Knox seventh, Bernard eighth, Koenig ninth, Stefano 10th, and Sawicki 11th, Bouye 12th, Eriksson 13th, Ramoli 14th, Terzoli 15th.
Yeah,
Still the
right now.
Still the
Still a bit of defending.
Stands. Oh, I thought I saw Victor Bernat go to the pits. Matej Michael almost looks down for the inside onto Patrick Rorschach. Sawicki is into the pits. Bernat and Witzki both to the pits. They're both doing a one-stop here.
They were on hards. They were on hards. They were on hards, and they are setting softs now. Yeah, they were on hards. Yeah. The soft runners were Eriksson, Seifert, and now Thailand. Wow, I'm very surprised about this. I'm very surprised, and Philip now. I think the tires are yet to update, but yeah, well, it makes no sense to set the medium low for eight laps, right? Or mediums hard, sorry, for the last laps. But yeah, for the lead, I think now Scott Flack is increasing the pace. He was racing in low 25 some laps ago. Now he's racing in 24.7s. So for now, he's doing great. The tires are not giving up so far, but yeah, he definitely increased the pace. This is his fastest lap since lap 3, basically. So we can see how much he dropped the pace, and now I think he just acknowledges like maybe it is my moment to push. And we will see how the others, like Hemming, Latin, and Saracino, manage the tires until now.
He needs to be very careful, though, because pushing on those softs at this stage is going to be really, really hard to do. But I think it's probably going to be his calling more or less now or never. Victor Bernat, meanwhile, this is the battle for P15, overtaking Andrea Ginali 14th, my bad. And down through turn 1, Bernat goes. Yeah, good move for him. The Spaniard gets himself... just breaks it through just a little bit. I think it's still just about outside the point square positions, but all good for him. But yeah, as soon as he puts the foot down, I think all the others will. But the thing with Flack is that if he does put the foot down on those softs, he needs to be extremely, extremely careful because he's more prone to losing it than the cars behind him are.
Yeah, well, the question is how much the hard tires and the hard tire runners save the tires compared to Flack, because yeah, Flack can increase the pace, but probably the question is how much the hard runners can increase the pace, and we can see Hemming being very close. I don't know if strategically Hemming is waiting for his time at the end because he sees it fairly easy, but now Jase is very close. Jase now has an opportunity to overtake Hemming. Now he will go defensive, moves again to the outside, he cannot move again to the inside, and Jase actually doesn't go for it. Wow, I'm very surprised.
I think he's waiting for his moment, but look at that, how much defending Hemming has to do. It's increased the gap between himself and Flack, so I think this is exactly what Flack's wanted. If Jase could just continue on to apply the pressure onto Hemming for a couple more laps, it could be Flack's race to lose. But again, that's just going to be the contrary to how the rest of the race is going to evolve in a scenario or environment aspect. And who knows, maybe Jase can, make the move maybe in the next lap. But it's very clear with Hemming that is starting to not get to second position. His second position is not all as cemented as he thinks it might be. Because Jase, along with probably everyone else, is probably very frustrated to have been amongst this train and just want to, take the gloves off and just want to try and make some overtaking maneuvers, regardless if it's a detriment to the tire wears or not. It's just, a chance at all. But I understand the patience in the early stages. But I think we can see here a little bit of people are getting a bit angsty about it. As his Mike is going a bit wide along with Rorschach. Heading for turn 13, they all go. And I think, yeah, Latin, Hamming, and Saracino, just keep an eye out for them. We might be able to see make some moves over there. Rorschach's gone very wide for the final apex, though. And that's allowed for Matej Micah now to go over to the backside. Yeah, he immediately goes defensive. Matej Micah breaks into the top 5. He can even make this move into turn 1. We'll have to see what happens. Slipstream. A little bit of defensive maneuver there for Rorschach, and Rorschach does his best.
It's not over.
Both drivers going to be going side by side. Yep, exit out for turn 1, turn 2. They both go. Matej Micah still holds onto the inside line. Oh, Rorschach closes the door. Closes the door for turn 2, and splits away from Micah through turn from P5 as it stands. And yeah, Micah weaves a bit in, back and forth. Going for turn 4. They both go, and Patrick. He holds P5 still.
I don't think Mateusz was entitled for space there. He was behind the braking zone. It was the space was so little to make the move in such a little gap. I don't think it was realistic, and it was a very good defense from Patrick Rorschach heading into turn 2. And yeah, of course there is frustration from Mateusz, but I don't think Patrick did anything wrong in that corner, to be honest. When we'll see a replay now. He went fully defensive now into turn 1 and does a bit of movement. That's I think what maybe Mateusz Micah was not happy about. And then he goes a bit wide into turn 1, and we can see here he's not entitled for space. He's fully behind and going for this move. Nah, not in a million years to make that move. No, that's impossible. That's no way. That's no way. I understand for turn 1 because Patrick shouldn't, once you are alongside, you cannot squeeze the other driver to the outside. You are entitled for that space. Oh, Micah is P9.
He's dropped to 9th. What's happened? What has happened? Is this for turn 1? Is that for turn 1 this happened? Because Rorschach is still in 5th and Nox.
Wow.
Nox 6th. Nox is 6th.
Wow.
Koenig 7th. Stefano. Something's happened between the replays. So this is another move onto Rorschach again. So what's happened here? Oh, did he overcook it? No, he didn't overcook it. He's fine. Oh no, he loses it.
No!
He accelerates it on the apex. Oh no. It was an eager move from Micah to try and get to P5, and it didn't work at all. Too tail happy.
Oh, what's happening to Micah? He's without the front wing! Oh no!
What?
No!
What?
He's without the front wing!
That's the second time Multiforce. That's the second time Multiforce doesn't have a front wing in race 2. What is going on? What is going on? So this is for the first sector, and this is going to be heartbreaking.
Did he try Did he spin it?
Oh,
yeah, he spin it alone. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's the same mistake that he's made for turn 1 and acceleration onto the curb. Oh, you gotta feel for Mateusz. It's gone haywire for him. It really has.
Yeah, that's race over. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. And now we see Philip Koenig, P7, doing a great job for Griffon Esports. We see being pressured by Wesley Stefano. We see some drivers are starting to struggle with the tires. We see Rorschach already lost the pace of the front. For the moment, Scott Flack is making what it was unthinkable. He's keeping the soft tires on check. He's keeping it. He's gonna go on till the end. Frank Hamming is close, but he didn't make it yet. Philip Koenig, we're watching now. Frank Hamming on the lead. We see he's being pressured as well by Jasse Latinen. What an achievement Scott Flack is doing right now. Frank Hamming will need to attack soon because opportunities are finishing right now, and we are starting to lap again into the 25s. This is the moment where the softs are just completely fading away. Frank Hamming needs to find a gap if he wants to win this Grand Prix tonight, Amir.
I know, it's absolutely incredible that we've seen here. Scott Flack is going to potentially become the first ever non-European ever in FS1 this season to win. The first ever driver from the Southern Hemisphere. It's Victor Burnett doing stuff for the inside, up to P9 he goes. Pretty good move for that from him. But the tension up to the front, Frank Hemming and Scott Flack, both of them are looking for their first wins here this season. It can really go any way, and Jesse Latinen is going to be looking to another one added to his books. Let's see here how this is going to happen. Oh, there's a 100-1 car up ahead. Not sure if that'll be any involvement there for Scott Flack, but if it does catch up to him, it's going to be not ideal for the Australian. But I think with about 2 laps to go, it'll just be enough for Scott.
Well, I mean, there is still a lot in play. We see Russia going wide in turn 11 in the background. I think Hamming needs to go for the attack, and we can see how much Scott is struggling for grip now. And yeah, we can see
Hamming looks for the inside for the final corner. It's going to be on never. Yeah, he does move out the way, but Hamming now a chance for now and ever to take the lead away from Scott Flack. He's on absolute worn softs, and Scott Flack knows this. He has to hold down to the inside line. He has to for turn 1, and look at this. Oh, he parks on the apex. Hamming just about accelerates on the apex, but still controls it and still holds it to second. Still looks for the outside line for turn 2. He's going to look for the outside of turn 2. This is going to be for the lead of race 2. Is it going to happen? Scott Flack is going to give it up his absolute all. He goes wide. How much does his softs have? How much does his softs have? Is it going to be enough? And he just about holds off from Hamming. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, but going wide there and keeping the position probably doesn't look good for his ultimate chances. I don't know if Frank will actually keep it safe, and knowing this.
Ooh, Flack gone a little bit deep almost. I thought Hamming nearly had it there. My goodness. Oh God, I'm getting absolute goosebumps, Carlos. It could really go any one of these 4 cars position here for the lead of the race. We've seen dramatic finishes here happen in FS1. This is certainly going to be amongst one of them here. Scott Flack, how much of those softs does he have left? How much can Hamming pressure him? And how much can Latinen pressure Hamming and Flack? And how much can Tarantino be able to benefit from all of this? Let's see here as they enter through the penultimate corner. It's going to be coming down to 1 lap remaining here. Scott Flack's done absolutely incredible on the softs. And I think he's going to be pushing it a bit for the final corner. He does so, and it's not going to be able for Hamming to use the slipstream down to turn 1. So as it stands, I think Scott Flack will hold the lead to the first 2 corners.
Yes, but I think Frank knows that maybe Flack kept the position illegally because he went wide with the defending. And maybe Hamming just doesn't need to play anything now, and knows that he is safe. So we see Saracino just pressuring now a bit on Jesse Latinen. That looks like he's struggling a bit more on the tires, and we see some position fighting as well further back. We see some yellows in sector 2, sector 1. I think it was Massi
Scott Flack, my goodness me. Oh no, that's someone off. Saracino's off, and that's going to be enough for Russia to get himself up into 4th. But meanwhile, Tetch has to drop it ahead because Scott Flack is still holding on from Frank Hemming. Have to look up ahead. He still just holds on for the 3rd sector. 1 more sector left to go for Scott Flack. Absolute detrimental his soft tires are, but it's going to be an absolutely clinical race for him if he's going to be able to pull off. Just 2 corners left to go for the Australian. Is he going to be able to pull off? Look at how much he's controlling those tires. They're absolutely gone, but Scott will just about, for Flack, I believe. I think he does so. Yes, he does. The final corner, and the Australian has done it. He's a race winner in FS1. Scott Flack wins here in the Hungarian.
Wow, what a performance by Scott Flack. I think it will be interesting to see the decisions. We see Philip Koenig just finishing P6. What a performance from the Griffon Esports driver from a difficult qualifying, heading up. Wesley Stefan in a gutting P8, pressuring for P1. And we will see now Mateusz Majka actually in P15, even without the front wing. And he goes through the outside with the move. Whoops!
Andrei Kanalia drops down to P15 after that, and Mateusz Majka P14 with that swing around the outside. That's pretty dramatic. Closest stages there. Andrew Ziski, from his first lap, the best that he could do was 16th. So it's not all be and all. Both Mata forces don't score in race 2. I think
No,
that's the first
Micah
time-
scores. Micah scores. Micah scores 2 points.
Micah scores 2 points. My apologies. It is the top 15 net score points. My brain is haywire now after what we've seen, but wow, Scott Flack, a race winner here, and for the first time ever in his career. Absolutely incredible here. Let's have a look for the replay. This is between this was Sarantino. This is coming through turn 4, and he loses it on the exit through turn 5, trying to put some pressure onto Hasse, but I think Hasse was just, it's already losing it. And then hold on through turn 5. Is it too early in the accelerator? It is too early accelerator. And he loses it, and he drops down 2 positions, or 3 positions as a result of that. But, wow. Frank Hamill didn't get his second win onto his book. That's the first time since Spain, but he will be happy with another second place, the joint best since Silverstone in race 1. And a lot of people, congratulations, Scott here. First ever non-European driver to win here in Formula Sprint 1 this season, and does so in great success there. Scott Flack then wins with Frank Hamill over in second. Hasse Lattinen competes a double podium for race 1 and race 2, with third Patrick Rushak didn't get his podium in the end, but he still got double fourths. James Knox, very good performance to him in 5th, with Philip Koenig, one of the Griffon Esports' best performances thus far in the European continent. 6th, with Giuseppe Sarantino in 7th, Wesley Stefano in 8th, Victor Bernat in 9th, and Victor Bouillet completes through the top 10. Outside from the top 10.
I will continue from here. Here, so I'll let you
please,
a bit. So, Roy Cypher, P11, Massimiliano Rivoli, P12, Mauro Terzoli, P13, Mateusz Majka, P14 with a very eventful race 1 and race 2. Andrea Cinalia closes the point, finishing in P15. Pavel Andrzejewski, P16, Perseus Miriam, P17, P18, Lucas Styling, and Marcus Christensen with the last finishing car. DNFs, Jesper Eriksson, Filip Czerwinski, Yannick Pleiss, Raymond Benzust, Mateusz Gusowski, Giovanni Santoro, turn lower, and
Giovanni Santoro, turn lower, and Oliver Torres are the people that whom do not finish. A lot of people that do not finish. As a result, will slowly get back to us, but until then, we're going to slowly come down to the interviews here for the Hungary. Absolutely incredible performance that we've seen here, and what a race to close off from what has been a phenomenal third quarter here in the FS1 calendar. Of course, after which our summer break will be greatly returning back over to Monza. After which we will swiftly move over. But until then, we'll head over to the interviews. Yes, please. Thank you, Remco. Sorry. Radio has been absolutely incredible. First 2 races, makes sense. We'll bring over the first couple of drivers over here. Philip Zawinski and Lorenzo Funic will be joining here alongside. So, yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Well, I must say this has been a very exciting race so far, but do talk about from your perspective, Zawinski. You came here as a last-minute replacement, of course, for Seba Panensko, and you've achieved very good positions, including, phenomenal both races. So do tell me, what was your mind going through whenever, during qualifying, during both those races for the Hungary?
I mean, I was just trying to survive, to be honest. It was like, I had only 1 hour of practice, so my goal was to drive and not die during any of the races, and the qualifying was pretty bad, and at least I got it back up in race 1 with the strategy.
And do talk about race 2, you've mentioned before that you've managed to pull it through for strategy. At race 2, we were seeing a similar climb up through the field from you, but were you really happy with your performance coming through race 2 despite the retirement that you had in the end?
I mean, unfortunately, Jasper lagged back into me, and my front basically exploded, so there was nothing I could do about that. But yeah, if I could have finished. I would say there was a possibility of a better finish than race 1.
Lorenzo, just over to you. You know, coming in through this, you were thinking about trying to score regular point scoring positions. Would you say you're both happy with Santoro and Serwinski both finishing 15th and 16th in the first race?
I'd say I'm happy with points, but I'm not, because it could have been more from both drivers. But unfortunately, we saw what happened with both in both races, and I'm so tired, man. I'm genuinely so tired of the streak of bad luck that the team is having. This is my second glass of beer right next to me right now, but I'm so tired of the streak of bad luck that we have, and we can't catch a break. We genuinely do have the capabilities to score consistent top 15s, but it's like RNGs completely. I genuinely don't have the words to put the frustration.
But surely with the strong showings that we've seen with Serwinski and Santoro on track, with them gaining so many positions, it should be a positive outlook for LEF, despite, you know, I know you mentioned before the bad luck and the retirements that you've had, but the product on track does show like you do have the momentum. So is there anything positive that you're looking through going into Monza with the on-track racing that you're seeing?
I don't know. I've stopped hoping for anything, really. All I can say for Monza is that both Davide Zanini and Alexander Gonzalez Green will be back, so there won't be, as of now, any rotations in the driver lineups. We will have the permanent driver lineup back together, so hopefully something good happens for us in Monza. Hopefully something good happens for us in the rest of the season. We've essentially been living off of the round 1 podium that Sven achieved, and then just I can't use that term. We get struck down by YouTube, but you get what I want to say.
I understand. Listen, Lorenzo, don't be disheartened. I think me and a lot of the fans would agree that it is going to be due over time for LEF. It does, bad luck does happen, but you know, your drivers and you yourself as well have shown that results have always come there, and you definitely get. So thanks for so much, Lorenzo. I know you're having a beer because of the bad luck, but head up and the momentum will carry through. And thank you so much for the interview.
See ya.
All right, I've got news for people watching this. Carlos Martin has been cut off mid-interview. His power has been gone, but yeah. So unfortunately, he cannot do the rest of the coverage. So I will just be doing the interviews solely myself. So I'll interview the next driver up in the next, Scott Flack, who has just won his first ever FS1 race. Hello, Scott. Scott?
Hello.
Hello. So, you've won your first ever FS1 race. In fact, I think you've won your first ever career ladder race. Do tell me how it feels becoming the first ever non-European this season to become a race winner here in Formula Sprint 1.
Oh, I didn't know we hadn't had a non-European winner, but yeah, pretty happy with that. Yeah, I guess I love the Hungary ring now.
Absolutely. Talk about your strategy for race 2, because we've seen you time again, like in Montreal, for instance, how you always seem to be really good, really strong on prolonging the tires as much as you possibly can. Did you think whenever you were starting race 2 on the softs that it was too much of a gamble or too high of a deficit? Were you aiming for the podium whenever you were starting in the second row with the softs, or were you trying to aim for a win with the softs?
This was all in on the win. Basically, I knew I had to get the lead, and then I could manage the tyres and get good runs out of the last corner. No one be able to overtake. Wesley got a good start, to be fair, and I couldn't get past him on that first lap, but luckily I just got past him into the second lap. And then from there, it was just full manage mode. The tyres are a lot harder here than, say, Montreal. I was cruising a lot. I was using about probably maybe 1/3 of the wear I would if I was going flat out.
Yeah, absolutely. You were pressured by Stefano, Roszak, Hamming, and Latinen, and Saracino all directly behind, and of course they've exchanged amidst the chaos that was happening right behind you. Did you how did you feel with that chaos happening behind you? Did you feel like your strategy was working, or were you worried that it might lose it?
I was never worried until I saw in the chicane, I think 2 people got together. I think someone and Wesley got together and they got spun. And up to that point, I was pretty happy with Wesley being there as the rear gunner. I knew I had enough to get him out of the last corners, and he was doing a good job there. So I was really happy with that, and I wasn't sure who was going to be the next up and how much of a risk that would be. But once I had Frank by me for a few laps, I feel like, yeah, he's kind of similar pace, and as long as I get that good run out of the last turn, I should be fine.
Absolutely. And tracking back over to race 1, when we were seeing people that were pitting as early as they possible seemed to be a bit of the optimal strategy. Did you think you pitting later put yourself off of a deficit to Frank Hemming, or did you, because you were very, very close to catching to Hemming to start from the position, to finish in P5. So I was curious if you would think that if you pitting early would have been better, or is it like a recurring thing that you always like to pit later because of your extreme tire management skills?
Yeah, I probably pitted a couple of laps too late. I was hoping that when the early people stopped, they would get a bit held up by those that hadn't stopped yet, maybe going on the hards or running a bit longer on the softs, and they just get stuck in the middle sector or something, and I could actually make a bit of a gain before I switched on the tires and then have a bigger tire advantage. Obviously, that didn't quite work out, and I don't really like using the hards. I feel like I lose a bit of pace relative to those around me usually. But actually, once I got on them, I was quicker than Frank, but I just couldn't get by. He wouldn't make a mistake, and to be fair, he drove really well.
And looking at the bigger picture on the Drivers' Championship, having a win to your name, of course, now after all the trials and tribulations that you had throughout the course of the season. Slowly approaching the winter break, the summer break now. What are your goals, would you say, upon the return for FS1 in Monza?
I think the next goal has to be winning the feature race instead of the sprint. That's the next target.
I see. Thank you so much, though, Scott. Please enjoy your win, and honestly, all hats off to you. You did absolutely superb today, and pleasure to interview with you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and finally, to wrap up for the commentary, to wrap up for the first day, interviews. We'll finish off with Mateusz and Andrew Tycki from Motorforce. Hello. So, Mateusz, Pavel, commiserations, of course, but looking back through on qualifying, though, both of you started from first and fourth, so again, another strong qualifying performance onto your record. Please run us through for how you feel.
So maybe I can start because I got probably the better result today. I think that Apex GP cars should get an award for botched starts today, because both Jase and Oliver got issues at the start. Yeah, Jase got issues at race 1. Oliver got issues on race 2. I was more compromised on the second one, but generally, after I took the lead in the first race, it was basically game over for them, because I knew that overtaking on this track is pretty much impossible to make and pull off. So the only chance Jase got was during this undercut phase, because he had pitted one lap before me. I thought that actually he would come up a little bit further behind me, but it was actually tight one on the exit. So there was one stressful moment, but in general I felt and I saw that Jase is a little bit more struggling on his end during the soft stint and during the hard stint. So I knew that I have only to bring the car home until the tires start being really bad, and actually, when they both started fighting with each other in the end of race 1, it also helped me because I felt extra safer, and basically this is race 1. Nothing extraordinary. I just drove consistently. I just drove to the finish line and took the victory. Which can't be said about race 2 because it basically ended before even I started from my grid slots. Oliver had some technical issues. Okay, that happens. So this is the great lesson that sim racing can give, but also sim racing can take what is generally possible. So it's mixed results, but I think that it's more positive than negative from my side.
Looking back to race 1, whichever you won, you've mentioned before that the SA Latinen pitted an earlier lap earlier than you did, and you've mentioned before that you were amazed that he managed to climb back so fast. That was the only chance that you were practically under pressure throughout the entire race. Were you ever worried that Jesse Latinen would maybe take the lead from you? What was going through your mind for the first 2-3 quarters, going side by side with him?
Generally, the first race is always during the first stint, or maybe the first half of the first stint, you don't know how others will perform in the race trim and how fast they are. So I think more stressful for me were actually the first 3-4 laps, because I didn't know that I didn't know if he will be gaining this losses and he will try to overtake me. Fortunately, it was the other way. He was just starting to fall back behind me. So another stressful moment, like you said, the pit stop phase. We were discussing with Jason that I should have probably pitted the same lap like Jase had done, but in general, this has given me a little bit better tire performance in the end. So maybe this was the crucial factor that has given me the victory today.
Absolutely. And Mateusz, just over to you. I know you must have been disheartened with race 1. But I'm curious, whenever you were heading over into the pits, you were still racing not 100% with the car. Did you elect to have it not repaired, or did you think that you would be able to manage it well? Because honestly, you drove really spectacularly in such a damaged car that not many drivers here on the grid would have been able to, do what you did.
Yeah, the pit delta with repairing the damage was like 50 seconds, 45 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So I decided to just skip them and try to survive with this. But the rear end was so damaged that in the right-handed corners I was not even, I think, turning the steering wheel to the right. Because if I will do that, the car will just spin me off. So yeah, that was tough. Very tough weekend. I think the hardest one in this season. Both races were a disaster, I think. Even if the pace looked promising and good, it means nothing when you throw it all away with this kind of mistakes, which exactly what I did. It's good thing that I somehow managed it to end in race 2, but race 1, but race 2 was even worse because I completely destroyed what could have been a fantastic result, I think, starting from P16 on P17. Where there was another chances to took some places on the end of the race. But yeah, right now it's only disappointment and embarrassment. But I know it's the only way good to manage that situation is to look forward and keep my head up, learn from mistakes. I need to just analyze these races and learn from that.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed, and a look head up as well for you both. You should, because it's 4 weeks now from the summer break. Now we're still going to be heading on European soil over to Munster. Multiforce still holds on to the lead very strongly, and the gap now between Micah and between yourself, Micah, and yourself, Andrew Zitsky, is now down to 8. So it's about as tight as it's ever been now, going through the final quarter of the season. And with a track that is so easy to overtake in the form of Monza, I'm curious for you both on your goals, I suppose, both as a team and as individuals yourselves. Mike, I'll start with you.
So in general, like I've been talking for like 3 or 4 rounds until now, I will be moving during this summer break. So very big unknown and very big question mark arises from my side, because I don't know how good or how bad the internet connection will be there, and if it will be sustainable to actually race in this championship for this last 5 races. I believe that I've done the most I could have done with this internet, because I don't have, for example, fiber wire to connect to my house. I had to look for other alternative sources, so I chose the Starlink. I hope and I wish that it will work. If not, we will look for another options. And my goal is obviously to finish this season, but I guess it won't be this easy as it was until now with my internet connection.
Yeah, it is a big maybe as well for the internet connection, but I'm sure you'll be fine upon the return from summer break. Mateusz, for you?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm very hoping that Pavel will have the possibility to end this season and keep the fight between us. But I think after this round, I don't know how is Pavel looking on it, but I'm not even focused on the fight between us because of that results. So it's hard to say, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean, the good thing is that what I'm feeling, because before this round I was really tired of racing, to be honest. Something changed in my mind, maybe because of that emergency rounds in SL2, and I was not even enjoying the practicing. It was hard for me. But after that embarrassment and today, I think something switched in me to practice more and to fix my mistakes and be back on the top.
But seriously, Pavel, if you don't return, it's been an amazing 3 quarters of a season they've had in FS1, and an amazing championship battle that you and Mateusz had that has lots and lots of viewers have thoroughly enjoyed. So big thanks to you two, and commiserations for your race, but onwards and upwards, as you said, Mateusz, and all the best to you, and hope the fortune changes for the remaining rounds to you both. So thank you so much, and all the best.
Yeah, thanks. Good night.
Thank you, bye.
And that wraps us up here for the interviews in the Hungarian. And as mentioned before, again, Carlos is not here, so he won't have any more closing thoughts. But I'm sure if he had closing thoughts, he'll probably go oi oi oi, as that was absolutely one of the most hectic races that we've seen here in the FS1 calendar thus far. From the Super League all the way down to the Academy, this has surely been one of the most chaotic races that I have certainly watched ever in my very short GPVWC commentary career. But it's not all an end for the Hungarian, because we're going to still be going here and sticking here in Eastern Europe. Monday the 11th here at 7:30 British Summer Time, we're going to be hosting for the Academy Series of the Hungarian as well. And then after which on Tuesday, the round 11 spectacle continues also at the same time. It's going to be the Super Lights, which is going to be a very exciting championship there. And then again on Thursday, 14th, next week, it's going to be the Grand Super League. And that will be the last race before it closes off for the rest of the for the summer break as the time's made, which means it will take a 2-week break as a championship, and then we'll come back kicking and screaming with the FS2 over at Monza round 12. That will start at the 2nd of September is whenever we'll start streaming, and specifically for us at FS1, it'll be over at the 4th of September, same time, same place, over at the Great Monza circuit, with the championship fight heating up and with a lot of the positions being traded over the standings. It's going to be very exciting to see who will be coming out on top here. And with the final few races remaining and a lot of characteristics of the tracks left to go, it's really going to be anyone's favorite to see who will be able to win the remaining races. But until then, thank you so much to Carlos Martin for being alongside him here today. Thank you to Remco de Zeeuw for his amazing broadcast direction as always. And I've been Amir Oates. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you at Monza.
Thank you.